Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 52 of the Unpaid and Underrated podcast, the podcast about crew, for crew, by crew, featuring crew, served up by crew, rated by crew, and constantly mocked by crew. I am one of the hosts, Big Joey. I am joined by Big Keith.
Howdy.
And Big Greyson.
Hello, hello.
Like your setup, he's got like a microphone.
Got the trucker gear rig going.
I would have said pilot.
Yeah, gamer. I mean, it's
gamer headphones,
basically.
Gamer headphones. All right. Yeah. Well, what are you drinking? You guys got anything cool going?
I don't know what I got. Hannah picked this up last night. It's a Poppy prebiotic root beer.
Poppy. Prebiotic. Yeah, prebiotic's like all the rage right now. I keep seeing it, and I don't know what it means.
So Poppy, not to be confused with Poppy.
Or probiotic, like prebiotic, probiotic.
I don't know what any of that shit
Amateur
means.
biotic.
And then you got the greens and all that shit too. Like, I don't know what any of that is. Just give me some bubbly. So I got a Wegmans Dragon Fruit Berry. It's pretty tasty. I'm running out of like shit to buy. Like, that's a struggle, dude. I'm dying. Like, every time I'm at the grocery store, like I need to actually start going to different grocery stores maybe to find different brands, because like I feel like if I just do the same thing, it's like, I don't know. I try to like add to the segment, but it's getting very difficult. To keep finding new stuff.
Well, I have something new. I haven't been able to find it before, and Steve found it and sent a picture, so I went searching for it. It is PC because we just have the best stuff, and it is cranberry ginger ale.
Ooh, that could be good.
Sparkling water. So it is actually really good. It's got the sweetness of the cranberry, a little hint of ginger ale. I've been drinking it since I got on the computer.
I would say that like sparkling, that's two essence flavors that sparkling water in general does all right. Like, so some kind of like a ginger ale would say like is lime-ish, and then like any kind of like, is it though? I guess.
No, there's no limes. There's no limes in ginger ale. There's a lot of ginger.
Okay, so whatever. Okay, we'll look at it this way. Ginger ale and Sprite kind of taste similar.
Nope.
And I said kind of, as in like they're the anti-cola, whatever.
Yeah, they all have a little hint of cherry Coke.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything tastes like cherry cola. So yeah, there was my segment of being inaccurate for the day.
Oh, somebody's gonna rag on you for that one.
Your intro, you hit it on the head. Like, it's rag on us day or week or month. It's like, fuck you. Like, I feel like I feel a little bit of the pain the sisters must feel of just getting your balls busted. You say the one wrong thing and some asshole latches onto it, and it's just like, oh man, I really feel it now.
It's just always really funny to me.
It is. Sometimes it catches you at like the worst moment, and I'm like, oh, if I wasn't in such a shitty mood, that'd be really funny. But you caught me at a really bad time, so go fuck yourself.
There's a cat.
Oh, Grayson's got a kitty.
It's one of the three. I'm sure they'll all three make an appearance
at once.
Three's a lot. Three's a lot. That's
We had two, and then we took on a third. We didn't want to see him get rehomed elsewhere, so
surprise cat.
Yep, actually surprise cat.
Nice.
All right. I am boring. I'm wearing a North Fitness shirt.
I am big, beefy Massonomics blue, baby blue, light blue, whatever the not black version is.
Heather blue.
Blue balls.
I've got the I think the OG.
It is an OG shirt. Wow.
From that was from the Rapid City meet, the first meet I did. I think it was the other host's first meet as well, if I recall.
Nice. That's
one
cool.
of the OG videos anyway.
I guarantee he'd say that was still the same blank, even though we all know it's not.
But that's become
so was that a trunk shirt? Was that a bought out of a trunk t-shirt? That wasn't like a website t-shirt, was it?
No, that was like 12 hours of lifting. This was like 8 o'clock, sold in the YMCA gym. Nice. The Rapid City YMCA gym. So definitely a trunk shirt.
So you might have multiple trunk shirts that we'll dive into later. That's pretty cool. Well, anybody? Let's see. Hold on, let me see here. A lot of us have been booking the rooms for the 2024 Lift Hard Live Easy, and no one's got a spot. No, I guess Jacked and Ginger is the only one that might technically have a spot because he won a free entry, and he said that Dave was going to let him put it towards that. So there's only 89 spots available for Lift Hard Live Easy 2024. I think 3 or 4 of us have already booked our hotels though, just to kind of get it on the calendar. So I pulled the trigger on mine today, just so I didn't have to worry about it. And uh, booked my room for Sioux Falls a couple weeks ago, and just pulled the trigger on the Fairfield and Aberdeen today. So
I was looking at flights actually while I was waiting for you guys. To fly from Toronto to Aberdeen is cheaper than Sioux Falls.
Oh wow!
Really?
Yeah. Now flying from my hometown, because I have an airport down the street from me, is way more expensive. But flying from Toronto to Aberdeen was like $200 less than Crew Falls, which is fun.
And anything under $1,000 is pretty much like a deal at this point. I think that's what we paid last year, was $1,000 a piece.
Yeah, it's about 800 if I go like basic economy. But I still gotta like figure out if Steve's coming, if I'm booking my own hotel. Like there's too many variables. We did buy our Arnold tickets, and we were looking at hotels. I've just been putting that off just out of sheer laziness.
That's gonna be steep. Now, how far do you like to walk near the Arnold? Because I was super lazy, and like for me, it was like if I'm gonna go to the Arnold, I know I'm gonna want to go back to the room a couple times rather than just be there for 12 hours. So having the one attached that was like a 10-minute walk all inside, because it ended up raining all last fucking year.
Yeah.
Or well, technically this year, but so if I go again in the future, I don't think I'm gonna go in 2024, but if I go like in the future, like years down the road, I think like the hotel attached is just probably it for me, even though it's like $500 a night, but it might be. It's just, I don't know.
We were looking at one just not attached, but like right there, and it was about $300 a night.
That's not bad.
We're only staying the one night.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not doing what we did last year, where we go for 3 whole days and try and get there every day and all that. Like we're not doing that. We're gonna drive in on Saturday, do like 6 hours at the Arnold, hang out with everybody afterwards at Brothers, and go home the next morning. Like we're not. Yeah, it can't be another $2,000 trip. Like that's out of pocket.
Yeah. Well, the benefit is if you're cool with rooming with Steve too, it's like, all right, well, 300 divided by 2 versus you go with your wife, you don't get to divide that by 2. You're, you get a 4 or 5 again there, but if they're all under your same house, you're still the one paying for the whole damn room. So having the ability to share a room with someone isn't the worst thing if you're down with that. But we don't all have the luxury that Greyson does to be 3 hours from the Mecca out there.
Yeah, I'm spoiled. Sometimes make a day trip, just a hop, skip, and a jump. 3 hours in the morning, hang out for a little while. 3 hours at night. We do that quite often. I got a bunch of nieces and nephews up there, so birthday parties and stuff.
You ever go to the gym?
Oh yeah. Especially if we go back for like a holiday, I'll shoot one of our hosts a text and usually get a free pass in there, which is really nice. It's appreciated. So catch up with some of the guys.
He's just giving out those free passes. Let us all in there the day after the meet. There's like dozens of us in there throwing stones around. Insurance nightmare.
Yeah, I did book the fare. I did book my hotel through Monday. Like I'm gonna play that by ear. Like I don't want to miss out on Sunday shenanigans. But
you did. You missed out on a lot Sunday.
But if I can get a flight if I can fly out of Aberdeen 11, 12, 1, 2, anything in that realm. But if Aberdeen's stuck with the whole like it's a 6 a.m. flight or nothing else, then I might just have to do the Monday morning. But right now I can just can't, I can cancel the whole thing up to like 2 days before. So I'll just modify that depending on our flights. But I wanted to be prepared, but I don't know that I want to be out of work an extra day for only get fucking like I was having a whole with one of my coworkers today about how much vacation we actually do get, and like they really fuck their new hires. They only get like 2 weeks, and then if you've been there for 5 years, you get basically 18 days. So it's like,
ooh,
that's not enough. Like I've been there for fucking 10 years. Like I need more vacation. This fucking sucks. But that's just like, and that's weird too. Like I never really thought about it, but like the company has existed at least in New York State for since 2010, and everyone that's nowhere. There's only a couple people still working there from the very beginning, but like the amount of PTO you get maxed out at has like never changed. It's just been like it's like just over 3 weeks, and it's just what you get. You like new hires to 5 years basically get 2 weeks, and then as soon as you get your 5 years, you get 3 weeks, and then it's just maybe if you go salary, it's a different scale or whatever. But like I'm not going salary there. I'm just an hourly guy, so I don't know. Just to ramble on about bullshit like that. So,
I wasn't gonna cut you off. I wanted to see how long you go.
I was more venting because like one of the new guy working with was venting to me, and I was just like, God damn it, I already am like a pessimist about enough shit, but like I was kind of okay about like mentally where my job was at, and then like when other people were bitching about the job, I'm just like, it's kind of you kind of have a point, but like I don't need any more negativity in my life, so I try to be as as it might not look, I try to be as happy as I can and try to not bring just my personality. I add enough stress to my life. If I can limit 1% of stress, that's like a lot because I have so much stress that a percentage of my stress is a lot.
If you're gonna add stress to this podcast, you just stop unsubscribe right now. I do want to talk. I just actually finished watching the new YouTube video.
Holy shit, that's the first time in 25 weeks, I think.
I had some time. I had some time. I was like, no, I want to watch this one because we're going to chat about it.
I want to hear it.
It was really funny to me.
Yeah.
Because like at first it was, here's the things you might need to get into powerlifting. Okay, great. But then it just turned into Tanner listing things that cost money. Right? Okay. Like it was just him rambling on. And it was just like, you know what else costs money? Food and motorcycles and hunting. And it was just him listing things that cost money. And I don't know if that was his direction, but I thought that was really funny. And it was like getting into powerlifting, doing this, doing that. And then, yeah, it was a solid 2.5 minutes of stuff that costs money.
Yeah. Yeah. He was comparing, basically other hobbies. All these other hobbies would cost as much or more was his logic and his train of thought going with that. One thing that I picked up on that like I kind of will pick apart a little bit is like I didn't agree. I don't think powerlifting costs a tenth of as much as he said it would because 90% of the people that are going to powerlift are already in the gym lifting doing something. Like I don't know anyone that doesn't lift at all and is going to join a gym to train to powerlift. You're already going to be a meathead in the gym and then be like, oh, let me just fucking do a meet. So in my opinion, the only thing you need to powerlift, the only thing powerlifting costs you is maybe a coach, if you're going to actually have a coach for a meet prep, and your membership to the federation, and then the meet fee itself, and maybe a singlet, because you probably are going to have shoes, you probably are going to have a belt, like everything that he listed. I would see but I guess I guess now that I'm really diving into it, he might be talking more about just training powerlifting more so than competing in powerlifting. So I guess if you were going to just not have anything and just be someone that goes to Planet Fitness and doesn't have a belt or sleeves or anything, yeah, you need that $300 or $400 investment. But then, like, I don't know. I don't know many powerlifters that don't still train like have a gym membership or have a home gym. So I don't know. That kind of threw me off. But I guess there are people out there that just kind of go from doing nothing to being all in.
They're just getting off the couch and being like, you know what? Signing up. Let's start looking at federation.
It's funny you mentioned that, Keith. My buddy that moved here back in August, I actually just got him signed up for the December to Remember event, which was pretty cool. But also, I think I talked him into the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic, and he's never consistently lifted before, and he's just like, yeah, that sounds cool. I'm gonna sign up and do it, and he just jumped in feet first.
Hey, don't do that because we need the spots for us.
Yeah, he's not allowed.
He's crew though. He's crew.
Oh, so he's actually crew. Okay.
He is crew. I got him to join.
The only thing Tanner left out was the $60 a year for your Costco membership and the $4 a day for your chicken bakes. I think that's the only thing he left out of the very important powerlifter. The pizza pockets too. You need the pizza pockets.
This is key.
Not to be confused with the pocket pussies that were going around on the Discord all week. What? Don't act like I wasn't the only one that saw it. There was like 3 or 4 different memes about that shit.
Yeah, I saw. I must have missed the joke. I wasn't totally following.
I must have missed it. Yeah, that.
I think I missed the original context. I think one of the hosts just posted the barbell rescue, and then everyone else started getting onto it about being a sex toy.
Yeah, when you mix,
but I didn't
Vasoblitz with.
Yeah. So yeah, that was that origin story.
Yeah. You know what? All that sand everybody likes to talk about for their sandbags, mix that in with your lotion next time you're donating.
Oh, ugh. I mean, that would exfoliate. I don't want to exfoliate that. That doesn't need exfoliation.
Anyway.
So, Grayson, what'd you think of last week's episode? We have a little segment here where we rate the podcast that Massonomics put out the week prior on a scale of -1 to 5 JD powers. So tell us what you thought of the episode and give us your JD power rating.
Yeah, I thought it was good. It's always good to get news about the Lift Hard, Live Easy, so that was exciting. They touched on the December to Remember event a little bit. I'm pretty excited about that. And I wasn't actually familiar with the American Pro, oddly enough, so that was really cool to hear Micah's perspective kind of on how they've grown it and developed it, and try to add like little things for the lifters to make it, about them. He wants to run a good meet, but then at the same time, he wants the lifters to enjoy it. They prep for it. They spend so much time on it. So I thought it was good. Tough decision. I think I'm going to have to go with 5 JD powers.
Ooh, really? Yeah, I mean, okay. We'll circle back to see if you want to change that towards the end, but we'll go ahead and put it. We'll mark it in pencil for now, and we'll see if we can't sway you with Joey and I's perception of it.
I got through it. I got to say, the stuff about Butt Rock was really funny because
yes.
I listened to quite a bit of Butt Rock. Apparently, we're always sharing Creed memes and stuff like that. Me and Spoon. The one thing though, I don't know if you guys are on TikTok or even if it's come across your Instagram. Have you guys heard the banana bread at work guy?
Mm-mm.
Not familiar.
Okay. So there's this dude, he's got to either be drunk or stoned, and he's just ranting into his camera. And he's like, today I got some banana bread at work, bro. And like my mom said, if you wait for things, bro, good things will happen. And I waited and I got some fucking banana bread at work. And it's like, and he goes off and he starts like, what's not great? Like when your eye's itchy and you scratch it, it's still fucking itchy, bro. Hell no. And like he sounds like one of the guys at my work, but listening to the guest of this week, whenever he said bro so many times, I started thinking of the banana bread at work, bro. If you guys can't, like, you just look it up in Reels or Instagram or just even Google search banana bread at work, bro, and see if you make that connection too. But it was really distracting for me. Now, again, I love the banana bread guy's energy. So it's not like I'm making fun of anybody. I love that video. He's so happy and energetic and trying to find positivity. So, but I couldn't get past every time he was like, bro, and like I've just pictured him as he has his sunglasses on the top of his head, and he's like, it was anyway. So 5 JDs, 5 JD powers after all that.
All right, that's good. That's good. Yeah, no, I'm not familiar with Mr. Banana Bread, but I have heard Micah on a couple other podcasts, and he was exactly, that's just his personality, very kind of laid back, kind of like, I don't know if it's hipster, it might not be the right word, but just very very laid back and kind of like just, like like he always just, toked up before the podcast kind of thing. But he was I did like that he talked about the American Pro. One thing I liked is that they haven't announced like the prize pool, because a lot of times to get those big lifters they got to be like $100,000, $85,000, and like that's the only way you're gonna get like Dan Bell or fucking John Heck go to meet, because they're gonna walk away with 20-30 grand. But they're basically, he just said whatever the sponsors give, like they're not promising a set rate or and then they added a multi, or no, they added a drug tested day also. So then it's like the pool, like the amount of awards they have to give out is going to be more. So the overall, the amount of money each person wins is going to be depleted, just because there's going to be more people competing in different divisions. So I don't know if it's going to draw as many bigger names. I mean, I think Bell's pretty much retired at this point, but I know John Hack's still there, a handful of the other really big names. We're just talking about how he wasn't just like going to go into the hole solely for the meet. Like he wasn't just going to be like, I'm going to pay $80,000 out of my own pocket. It's like whatever the sponsors give is what they're going to get. So that was kind of cool. I really like that. And for all those reasons listed, I pretty much agree with everything that Greyson said, and mostly Joey, minus the not being familiar with banana bread.
Yeah, you'll agree with me when you hear it.
So for all those reasons, I guess this is hard. I really stress about what I'm going to give this score each week. So especially since I'm getting so much shit about my IMBD, I'm so afraid that if I give it the wrong score here, that people are going to attack my JD power ratings as well as my IMDb. So we'll go ahead and give it 5 though, and come at me.
Tough score.
Oh, I'm on images. That's why I'm gonna send the banana bread at work, dude. I'm gonna send, I think, the YouTube clip in the chat in a few minutes, and then when you guys log off here, go listen to it, and then you can go, yeah, you're right.
Sounds good. We'll get into that. If you want to, the next segment is kind of your baby. I don't know if you wanted to introduce that.
No, that was Nate's baby.
Well, Nate's not here to defend himself. I thought you came up with it. Okay, so
Nate's not here, man.
with all our segments, for the most part, they'll come and go. They'll be here for a minute. They might go away. They might be consistent. We never know. It's all kind of up in the air. But as a counter, more or less, to the what grinds my knurling, we're going to introduce this week a what cleans my knurling, sponsored by Barbell Rescue. Use code NWC for a discount. So everyone, the concept of this would be not what pissed you off this week, not what you hate, but just one happy thing you saw, one good deed you observed, one thing you thought about that made you smile. Anything in that nature, talk about it for 30 to 90 seconds. And I think that'll be a segment for this week if you guys are down.
All right, I'll go. It's usually going to be my kids because, they're just so damn cute, and just seeing them evolve and like get smarter and learn words and stuff. So last night, I was off yesterday, and I spent the entire day just playing the new Spider-Man game. Like I didn't move from my rocking chair for like 4 hours. Like I lifted and then I sat down and played. And then when dinner time came, there was only enough leftovers to feed my dad and my wife. And I was like, then you guys have it. I'll figure something out, because I knew I had to deadlift today, so I wanted some calories. And then I walk in and I'm looking around and doing the guy thing where you open the cupboard and look and close it, and you go to the fridge and look and you repeat. And my wife goes, just go for pizza. You've been talking about pizza all day. Just get your shoes on and go get a pizza. I'm like, I know, but like the money, and I don't want to drive. Like, I got to find something. And then my 4-year-old just said, go get a pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just so like, he didn't even look up from his iPad. He just go get a pizza, Dad. And it was like the best, because like it was just him he was just repeating my wife, but like he knew what he meant. Right. So that made me very happy.
Nice.
I like to hear that. What about you, Grayson? Do you have anything worth mentioning this week?
Yeah. I kind of already touched on it, but wanted to use it for this segment. So I had mentioned, that one of my good buddies moved here from, is actually the East Coast, he lived in Massachusetts, Derek. And he started lifting with me. He was wanting to get in shape, get strong, stay strong, use the strength even. Yeah. And so he's been coming to the gym with me for probably close to 3 months now. And, I'm always spewing the sister podcast, talking about that and whatnot. And I had shared with him, the December to Remember event. And, you should get signed up to the crew. It's a good time. It's very laid back, so he signed up for that and just decided he was going to commit to the Lift Hard Live Easy, which I thought was really cool. Like I said, he's a really good friend. So it was kind of a feel good moment. He's just willing to jump in feet first and train with me. And it's nice to have a training partner too. So we kind of hold each other accountable there, and we're kind of working out what our prep will look like together. So I thought that was pretty neat.
I love it. So you would say that cleans the chalk out of your knurling then?
Definitely.
Awesome. Sponsored by Barbell Rescue, code NWC. I will go last. I agree. I enjoyed hearing what both of them had to say. Not having kids, but I can see I could see the benefit in your kid just being like, no, take care of yourself for a minute kind of thing. I dig that. And then anytime, fellow crew and training partners support each other. That's kind of where I'm going to go off on a little, thing with my training partner, Big Chris. I met him at the Arnold. He's been coming down to the No Wine Cellar for the last 7-8 months since March, or 7.5 months, I guess. Very consistent training partner every Sunday, and then all my lift parties. Be here like 95% of the time whenever he's in town. I hadn't seen him for a couple weeks because I had been sick, and then I hurt my back, and he was out of town 1 week. And then when he did show up, he came with bearing gifts. He bought a replacement tripod for one of the ones that I had was broke, and then he picked out a new tripod, which actually goes taller and like consolidates a little better. It's really nice, and it has like a little like a one of not necessarily a thumb screw, but like the thumb adjuster. It's like bright orange, so he just like specifically got it for that. And I'm like, oh, that's sick. And just like $50-$60 with the tripods. Just didn't have to do that, and just came bearing gifts. Said, here you go, buddy. Like, thanks for letting me train here. So that's pretty cool. I always tell people like you don't have to get me anything to come train here. I don't charge or anything like that. It's just like I get more out of this than you guys do being here. But when people actually go out of their way to, it's not even a finance thing. It's making the gesture. Someone making a gesture to show you that they appreciate what you built for them. What you've built in general, like the community that I've tried to build here. Like, and someone actually showing some appreciation for that, like in a not necessarily a monetary value, not in a monetary way, but just in an effort. Like, it took him effort to go specifically find the exact one that I had because he knows I'm OCD and like wanted to just have the exact same one. And then he took a shot on a new one, and it worked out great. I had to like specifically say like I was very reserved if I was going to like that or not, and then turns out it's fucking awesome. So great job. Thank you, Big Chris. That very much cleaned the chalk and rust out of my barbell this week.
Yeah, code NWC at Barbell Rescue. And I've seen them before. I thought about buying them. The shipping is just a bit too much to Canada. So I've seen the product. It looks like it's great. Yeah, I'm going to do a little quick rant.
Have at it. Let's hear it.
Yeah. My pec and bicep are on fire today, and I had an RPE 10 deadlift day. And just to protect myself, I thought to myself, I'm going to put on an elbow wrap just to see if that like helps in any way. It did not. Like, my warm-ups were gross with that thing on, and then I hit my top set easy. I could have probably done a third, but I just thought against it because it was only two at like something 75% or something like that. Like, it was insane. It did not help. And the reason I'm talking about this, honestly, is because next week is the garage gym.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The sister podcast was a sponsor one year. I've always touted for it and been a fan of it, but it does launch next week. I will be heading over to Steve's house to do that. We are going to film together and, get your submissions in. It's real easy to submit. You just put it in. You just record your 3 top lifts. Most people do SPD, but some people do crazy other stuff that is like in the general realm of that, because you can just win for submitting. Like, people submit their kids' lifts as an additional entry, and and it's randomly drawn. So like, if you're lifting at home, just submit something, get them more sponsors, get them more views, and we'll all keep doing it.
Yep, and the rules are very loose with it. And just to piggyback on Joey's there, it's actually October 28th through November 5th. So by the time you're listening to this podcast with your ears, as you do, it'll already be going on, and you'll have to like 5 days from the time this comes out, Tuesday, give or take, to get them submitted. So yeah, I had aspirations to hit some like heavy-ish numbers. I was going to start this Sunday and go like, because the cool thing about it too is it doesn't have to be a mock meet. You don't have to do all 3 lifts in a day. Mm-hmm. Like, I historically will do like 3 individual days over the course of the week and just take like an RPE 9.5 single. So I'm not like fucking my training up too bad and killing my body, but still putting together like, a decent total. But with my back still being like 70-ish%, I'm going to do variations. So I might do like a 135 front squat or something just to get some variation of a squat in, whatever I can squat ish for pain free. I am going to push my feet up bench. Like, I think 265 is my PR for a feet up bench for a single. So if I can push out 267.5 or 270, that'd be fucking awesome, but I'm not going to like kill myself to do it. And then maybe like do an obnoxiously high block pull or rack pull or something, just all depending on how my back is. But with Joe doesn't give a shit what you do. Like, and I listened to a podcast the other day where a guy said he he won like the most expensive gift they ever gave away. It was like a Prime Fitness rack. What was supposed to be just like a corner stack, like a cable stack, but they ended up like scoping the guy's page out and being like, "Oh no, we're just going to give him the $5,000 one, not the $2,000." And the guy only submitted like a bench, like because he was either sick or busy all week, so he only submitted one lift, and it's all random draw the hat shit. So yeah, go check out Garage Gym Competition on Instagram. Look at the rules, figure out what you have to do to submit, and take it out.
That'd be about 4 weeks away from my actual meet, so I don't think I'm going to be pushing any big numbers for the GGC. But we thought we'd get together and just work on some cues, and he was like, "Well, why don't we just film for the GGC at the same time?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that makes perfect sense."
Love it. Well, we are pretty deep into this, about a half hour in, so I think it's time to get a little sponsor read. Mr. Greyson, do you want to hit us with something?
Yes, sir. Get ready for Massonomics, podcast that's been cracking up lifting and beer enthusiasts for over 7 years. Dive into powerlifting news, rate some crispy boy beverages, and enjoy other unique segments that'll have you in stitches. You might even hear from a familiar guest or two. If you've got a love for lifting, Massonomics has a gym in western Northeast South Dakota where all your lifting dreams will come true. You can follow their social media for daily memes, shop their apparel online, and the best part, you can become a supporting member to unlock exclusive crew perks. You can gain access to a private Discord community where you can chat with some of the silliest and sometimes serious gooses around. Join Massonomics today at massonomics.com/join to be on the right side of history.
Amazing. Yeah. Join the crew. Hang out. Come sit with us. We do fun things, as Nick Nocturno would say. Do fun things. All right. Who wants to get? Sorry, you can't see this right now, but you guys can. I am touching my beard constantly, and it's because I shampooed it tonight, and I don't want to put oil in it until tomorrow. So it is just like straw off my face, and it's just knotting every time I touch it. So if you're wondering why I'm constantly touching my beard tonight, it's just a very uncomfortable beard.
Yeah, I hadn't noticed that until you said something, and now I'm gonna keep a running total.
And I'm like I'm clawing at it, and you'll see me like going like, because there's like knots in it, and I should just oil it and stop being a nightmare. I just don't want to smell oil all night.
Well, I got an idea. I want to hear what the guest has to say about your beard. I think we've got time to get him on the horn.
Yeah, let's do it. Kick everybody out. Hey, Big Grayson, is that you?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yes, sir. You're live on the Unpaid and Underrated podcast. We're not going to do any preamble or anything like that. We're going to jump right in just to make sure we don't miss any gold.
Very nice. Let's do it.
All right. Keith, you fire away, buddy.
Well, Grayson, for anyone that's not familiar, Joey and I know you a little better. You have been a old school, long-term member of Massonomics Gym. So let's just hear your origin story. How you found the gym, how you found the crew, all that.
Yeah, it's kind of funny you say that. I was racking my brain trying to remember. I think it's been probably known the other hosts for, I don't know, 10 years maybe. I think from memory, I used to work at a car dealership in like middle school, high school, and you guys are familiar with Big Ross, Mount Rossmore. That's where he's at, and so I got to know him through there. I'm pretty sure that's how I had met Tommy and Tanner, because I lifted at Snap Fitness in Aberdeen for a while, maybe the gym that shall not be named, but so I had gotten I knew of those guys, I knew they lifted at the Y, and like Tanner, one of the bigger guys, pretty strong. And I had gotten into their YouTube channel pretty early on. I don't even remember now, honestly, but I wasn't an original supporting member of the first location of the gym, the version 1, but I did join shortly after. So that was super cool gym. Totally different from what I was used to, commercial, like fancy lighting and all that stuff. It was really cool just to have like kind of a quieter, laid back, like-minded lifting environment. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Love it. Love that you were able to find them years ago. So let's see. Sorry here. So are you from here? You are the only person that's actually competed in all three of the strongman shows, or do I have that right? Or just basically that you have competed?
I think it was, yeah, I've competed in all three. I think it was the car deadlift because the first 2 years everyone got to do the car, and then the third year it was kind of they kind of let you pick what you wanted to do, and I was like, well, I think the car is the one thing I'm okay at. I'm not good at strongman by any means, but I really enjoy doing the car. So
Nice. Was that the one where it was basically like a like blue team versus red team or something, and like each couple got like one guy did a certain event or something?
yep, yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Nice. Now, was that the David versus Goliath event, or is that something completely different? So I hear there's a good story about the David versus Goliath at the 2018 Massonomic Strongman Showdown. Do you remember that?
I don't know if I'm familiar. I mean, the guy I competed against in the car deadlift was a huge dude. I don't know if that's what.
Maybe, yeah. That's probably because it was Tanner asking, so I'm assuming it was more of a jab at you being David and anyone like 6 foot and above is Goliath.
Yeah, that would have been Big Matt then. Yeah, he's probably 6'6", maybe 6'7".
Oh, wow.
So I look pretty silly standing next to him.
Okay, then that's 100% what that's 100% where what he was fishing for then. So
and I did beat him. That's probably where he's going with that. So
nice, short king for the win.
Yep.
Nice. Now, was that before or after you were you posed for the Massonomics calendar?
Oh God.
And do you remember? And do you remember which month you were for the calendar?
I don't. Wow, I forgot all about that.
This is like that would be like circa 1819, something like that. Maybe even earlier.
That was good. That was a long time ago.
I think they still have the calendar is still in the gym hanging up, right?
It is, yeah. We
I
looked
wonder
at
if
it. Go ahead.
I wonder if Tanner actually like even though the dates would be wrong, if he actually like changes the months just to like get a new body on the wall every now and then, or if it's just like it's just collecting dust and only got looked at as lift hard, live easy, and then before that never.
Yeah, I wish I would have got one. I had we looked at it when we had stopped by the gym for the lift hard live easy again, so it's always funny.
Well, I'm going to ask something that we ask everybody. Being that looks like you have card number 4, so you're supporting member number 4.
Correct.
So you've been around a while. What is the one piece of Massonomics merch that you missed and you wish you had, if any?
The one that I missed, Hannah actually has the baseball tee. I want a baseball tee. It's all white with the black sleeves. And she wore that when we came to Aberdeen for the Lift Hard Live Easy, and we met the hosts at Pounders.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, she got some clout wearing that one. That's the one that I wish I had that I don't.
What do they call it? Raglan? There's a name for those. Baseball tee is what most people call them, but like there's a name for the cut.
Oh yeah, like the long the long sleeve that goes down. I can't think of the name of that either.
Yeah, it's kind of like a 3/4 sleeve or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm familiar with it being more. I can't think of the name of it specifically though. But speaking of Hannah, I just want to give her a shout out if she's listening. She gave me the most literal, in-depth, filled out questionnaire return sheet that anyone and like to where it was pages. So I'm sorry, Hannah, if we don't get through everything. You were spectacular in your dedication to fill all that information out and give me the most detailed information. Very much appreciated. Anyone listening that's going to be a future guest, please, prod your significant other to give us as much information as possible because it makes the preparation for the episode so much easier. So huge thank you to Hannah. And when will Hannah become crew? Does she have any interest in doing that? Can your guys' household, literally afford another supporting membership? I mean, you might have to get rid of one of the cats if you maybe do another membership.
Yeah, I mean we've talked about payday lending maybe as an option. I told her she's crew adjacent, so she's close, but she's gotta get in.
Mm-hmm.
No, she's super appreciated for giving up all that information. I don't know what she said, but I know she was stressing about it a little bit. And I think she was just as excited or more excited than I was to be on, just to supply the information, which is pretty cool. So
it shows.
She's the best.
Okay. Big David Mills has an FMK for you. You know what FMK is? Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. It took me a second. I got it.
So Massonomics Gym, Massonomics Podcast, and Massonomics Apparel. FMK.
Boy.
Good one, Dave. Appreciate it.
Massonomics Gym, Massonomics Apparel,
or the podcast. Yeah.
So this hurts, but I'm gonna say, just because I don't live there, K to the gym. I think I'm gonna have to do it just because I don't live there. If I live there, I think it'd be a different story.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna have to M the podcast. I think it's a good listen. I don't want to give that up. Nice and steady.
Yep.
And I'm gonna have to F the apparel, I think.
All right.
Sound answer. I don't think anyone could, judge you for answering that way.
I definitely don't have any notes.
Let's see. So, what is, outside of the one you're wearing, what do you think the second most OG Massonomic shirt you have is, if it's not that one?
Oh man, I've got. I don't know how old it is because the timelines just really just run together. I don't even remember the release order anymore. But
well, in 1980, there was a barbell company.
I have the Curl Hard shirt. I think that's pretty early. Or maybe more exclusive anyway. I don't know if that was a limited run. Jeez. I'd almost have to run through my closet again to look. I have my favorites that I wear. I love the Bench in 315. I probably need to slow down the rate at which I wear that because I'm wearing it out. So I'd like that to run again.
So we got a handful of different nicknames for you, and the one that stuck out to me the most wasn't even a nick. Well, GK. Do you want to tell the millions of fans what the K in GK is?
Yeah, so that's pretty much my family, and I would say close friends call me that. G for my first name, Greyson, obviously, and then Keith is my middle name. So K, GK. Nothing fancy, but it kind of rolls off the tongue, and that started super young. I think it was maybe from my dad.
I want to point out that Keith found that more interesting than Tasty Muskrat.
Oh god.
Well, I was gonna get to the rest. I wanted to pat myself on the back.
Of all the ones to ask first, it's my name. Yeah, thanks.
My name.
Tasty Muskrat.
Yeah, I want to hear about that too.
Wow. Yeah, that one. That's an old gaming handle. My uncle, he lives in Sioux Falls here. We're pretty close. We grew up hunting, fishing. He'd watch all my sporting events and all this and that, and we'd fish together and whatnot. So, he's a big gamer too, and his gamer tag, I think it was in middle school, he kind of got the handle. I think it came from basketball. He somehow got the nickname Playful Muskrat. And as a little kid, I just thought that was the funniest, silliest thing ever. And I'm like, well, I need to think of a play on that's maybe equally as just totally off the wall or random. And originally it was Testy Muskrat, like agitated, maybe in a way would be the right way, Testy Muskrat. And then it somehow switched into Tasty Muskrat, and that's just stuck.
That's better. I think that one's better, yeah. Because Testy Muskrat
might be a dual meaning there.
Yeah, there's a word for dual meanings. So, yeah, okay, totally different thing I'm pulling tonight. I'm podcasting stone sober, and I can't hear a thing. My brain is not functioning at all.
You need that little alcohol to prime the pump there, or just get you
right. I can't. Innuendo. That's the word I just forgot.
There we go.
Innuendo.
Yeah, I am not. I decided not to drink tonight because I only have to work a half day tomorrow, and I don't want to I want to be able to enjoy my Friday as much as possible. And like the last couple times, I even had like only like having like 3 or 4 beers. It was enough to just be like kind of feel like shit in the morning. And I want to have an amazing. I got a lot of shit I want to get done around the house tomorrow. So fucking get to bed, go work 4 hours, no beer, come back in here, just pound away doing some shit around the house. That's my goal. But what the fuck is I legitimately had no clue what a platypus was, and I only kind of know what a muskrat is, other than it's some kind of little fucking rodent of some sort, right? Like, what the fuck is a muskrat?
I saw one recently for the first time ever. That's fun.
Yeah, so I grew up duck hunting a lot, and they, at least where I've seen them frequent anyway, they're like a little, they look like a wet rat. They frequent water, so they got like a long, slender tail and just a little furry guy.
Interesting.
People eat them a lot. Weirdly.
Oh, I didn't.
They got to be bigger than rats then. If people eat them,
right?
They're noticeably large.
They're like 5, 6, 7.
Come on, cat. I like how that cat was looking at the camera screen like, what are you guys up to?
I love
his turn to interview.
So were you? I'm kind of. I don't know if I copy and pasted it wrong or just the way the sentence was sentenced up. Were you named the strongest baby ever, or was that something that was actually coined to you, or is this just something that she like typed out? I'm very.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm following either.
It says Scorpio baby born the strongest baby ever in Western Northeast South Dakota.
Interesting.
Yeah, skip it.
You're her strong baby. Maybe
that's it. That's what it is.
We'll move on. Now, sometimes it's hard too because reading stuff sometimes it doesn't come across the way the person intended it. Sometimes, and then I look like an asshole.
I have a cat question. Okay, it's 2-part. What's that cat's name? And is it true that only male cats can be ginger?
His name is Patrick.
Good name.
Named after SpongeBob. We have another orange cat named Gary. I actually don't know the answer to that. And in fact, it probably looks like that's true because our 2 orange cats are male cats.
I'll hit it on the Lugal.
Are both of Murph's cats boys?
I think so. Like I think I've heard that like only male cats can be ginger and only female cats are calico.
Interesting.
I'm gonna Google it.
I do. So our cats, we got them. So we think we're this Saturday is a month we've had them, I believe, 4 weeks. They've gotten they're fucking like not double, but they're like 33% bigger than they were when we got them a month ago. It's crazy because they were 3 months and now they're coming up on 4 months. So it's just like it's crazy. Because let's see, the Mabel was bigger than Dottie when we first got him, and now Dottie is bigger than Mabel, like substantially. And like you can like see that she's gonna be like a 10 to 15 pound cat, and the other one's gonna be like a 8 pound cat or something. I don't think Mabel's gonna get like big, like her limbs, like basically I'm assuming you can kind of judge a cat by like its paw size, where the one cat has like kind of like its hand is like a third smaller than the other one's hand, but the one that has bigger feet now was like tiny when we first got them, and they're like the same litter. So I don't know, just found that to be amusing.
Cats walk on their toes, right? Like where they hinge is actually technically their heel. It turns out that no, not only male cats can be orange, but about 80% of orange cats are male. And it has to do with like recessive genes coming from the female side or something.
Speaking of orange cats, did you guys know brown cats are a thing? And they're super rare.
Like a full, like an entirely brown.
Yeah, entirely brown cat. I've never seen one in person, but I've seen them like in videos. That's a thing.
It's crazy. There's blue cats too, and they're gorgeous.
Speaking of ginger ratios,
here we go.
No. So like, are I don't know enough about it. Like, would you say there's an equal amount of females in the world that are ginger versus male, or is that like really lopsided like cats? Like, are out of the 100% of the gingers in the world, are 70% male and 30% female, or is it like 55, 45, like something that's like close enough to being half?
We didn't discuss that at the last meeting, so I'm not sure.
You're gonna spit out my drink on that one. That was good.
I'm having a beer.
I'm curious. I'll have to look that one up at some point, but not now. Well, let's get back to Greyson here. Oh God, there's so much.
So much stuff.
Setting the bar way too high.
So you are allergic to loose-fitting shirts and shorts with an inseam longer than 5 inches, huh? Is that a thing?
That is a preference, yeah. Yep.
So not an allergy preference. Okay, we'll have to correct the notes on that. let the record show.
All I'll say is, if your knees aren't showing, you're wearing pants. These cargo shorts that go down to your knees, these John Cena things that the dudes think who wear short shorts, you look like a yeah. Hit leg day and then come and tell me you're not going to wear something small.
It's interesting too, and maybe it was just because of the trends. I don't know. I definitely grew up wearing shorts past my knees 100%, and I don't think I own a single pair that's probably even touching my knees. Preferred probably 5 or 7 inch inseam is definitely the way to go.
7's almost too long.
Yeah, I would. And the shirts anyway. My defense, right? I'm a little on the short side. I think Joey and I might actually be the same height. I'm around 5'4", so the large, depending on the cut, the blank of shirt, right? They're a little too long if I get a large, and I don't like my shirts to be, I like them. I would say right around my waist. I don't like them long by any means, but when I get the mediums, they tend to be a little bit on the tighter side up top.
Yeah, I'm running into the same thing. I actually don't mind if they're a little long because I have to crouch down a lot at work, and I always feel like my ass is hanging out if I'm wearing something that's just a little short. But everything is starting to get tight around the shoulders and back, and like I wish I could say like they're getting tight around the gut, because then I could just have a complaint. But it's just a humble brag to be like, oh yeah, all my small stop fitting, my mediums aren't fitting, but it's all like up in the shoulders and back. I don't know what's going on. Like, shut up. Everybody knows what you're getting at.
Right.
So when Joey mentioned chicken bakes earlier, I noticed you were kind of quiet. And now that I get back to the notes here, unless something's changed in the last few weeks, you have not had chicken bake yet.
That has changed.
Oh, okay. Let's. What do you think of the chicken bake then?
I think it's fantastic.
And is this the food court chicken bake, not the frozen one, right? With completely different macros.
This is the food court chicken bake. In fact, the first time we got it, we decided we had to make an event out of it and park our full cart of groceries and sit down in the food court and really, really take it all in while it was fresh. And I think we were both thoroughly impressed. So much so that roughly a week later, Hannah brought a couple more home. So big fan of the chicken bake. Macros at all.
Yeah, they're not bad.
The closest Costco to me, US, would be Rochester.
Okay, yeah, that's so I can throw a rock and hit that one. Like it is literally like 0.7. Well, I can't literally throw a rock there, but it is under a mile from my house. I drive by it every single day, twice.
I bet you could throw a football clear over them there mountains.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm going to be honest. When Keith said he could throw a rock to Rochester, I thought Minnesota's pretty far away, Keith. I don't know.
So we were just talking about that in the Discord. Someone, big Paul Floss, friend of the podcast.
Whoa,
Paul Floss, friend of the podcast, was actually in Rochester, Minnesota, and he had posted something about that, and I was like, I reshared it with not my Rochester. You got a kick out of that. But yeah, no, I get that a fair amount sometimes where I tell people I'm from Rochester and I don't specify New York because I don't know which one's bigger or which one's. I mean, out where you're at, I'm sure you guys might not even know there is a Rochester, New York. But out here, it's like I didn't know there was Rochester, Minnesota until a few years ago. I'm like, what?
I was going to say I don't even think I've been to Rochester, so I couldn't tell you which one's bigger.
When you get a chicken bake, do you ask how big it is and if you can get an extra patty or?
That's usually reserved for sit down restaurants when I'm getting a burger, generally.
what answer can they give you to not make you ask if you can get a second patty? They're like, it's a 1 pound burger, and you're like, what if 2?
Yeah, honestly, it would probably have to be. I think I have yet to see a 1 pound standard burger. That would probably do it. I think a 1 pound patty would be okay. It feels like they do like a 1/3 or a half a lot, and I'm like, well, is it a couple bucks? Okay, yeah, let's throw it on there, definitely.
That's pretty funny. There was a point in your life where you were on the Gaston diet, a dozen eggs daily.
Oh God, yeah. that was before we moved in together. I was living with a roommate, and I still eat 4 to 5 every morning, but I don't do like the half a dozen or whatever for supper. It was just really convenient and super cheap. Like that was before eggs. That was probably 2016, 17. So I could get 60 eggs at Walmart for like $4. And I love scrambled eggs anyway, and ketchup. I have an obsession with ketchup. So it was ketchup and eggs.
Ketchup is a trash condiment. We've talked about this.
Yeah, I get. Hannah throws a lot of shade at me for my ketchup to this day.
I'm on Team Hannah then, bud, because my wife won't even let us have it in the house because she hates the smell. My kids love ketchup, but she deprives them of it. I just don't care for it. But she's like, no, I'm not washing any dish that has ketchup on it. Like she's a monster about it.
Yeah, I'm picking up like the three big containers from Costco. It's like, you gotta have it.
French's or Heinz? French's or Heinz?
Usually Heinz.
Yeah,
Heinz, 100%.
And I think that's what Costco stocks.
So when you still lived in Aberdeen, were you and Big Tyler F. and Stone kind of kindred spirits with your ketchup obsession? Because he is a huge ketchup guy.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, I just get to remember like in the back catalog. There's a couple episodes where they just like kind of he was specifically talked about like just excessively putting ketchup on shit. So it just always kind of stuck out to me.
It's a legendary condiment, very versatile.
Okay, so there's one in here that I thought I'd talk about, and I'm not in any way an expert in this, but I'm gonna say exactly what's typed here. Self-proclaimed weeb, but you've only watched 5 anime in the last 1.5 years. So first of all, you have to explain now to people who don't know what a weeb is. I am aware, which is why this is so funny to me. And then we're gonna let everybody judge if you actually fall into the weeb realm.
So this is what's funny is I don't even think I could properly explain a weeb because I don't even fully understand it. Hannah definitely loves multiple, tons of different animes, and up until I don't know, probably 8 months, maybe a year. She's got me into some pretty good ones that I've really liked. We're in the middle of. She's already seen it, but I'm in the middle of Full Metal Alchemist right now, and I'm really enjoying that. Yeah, it was kind of a running joke amongst us. Like she was trying to get me to watch them for the longest time, and I'm like, I just don't have an interest, and enjoying them now anyway.
It's the same way. My wife really enjoys it. My wife's an artist, and she really enjoys that kind of stuff. So like Studio Ghibli, I'll watch. There's some of them that like, yeah, I enjoy these. They're the weird mystical stuff. One Punch Man will always be the best because I think that it has our sense of humor. You're both giving me a blank look. Have you not watched One Punch Man?
I haven't. No. I think Hannah has, but I have heard of it, but I haven't watched it.
If you like crew humor, you'll love One Punch Man because it is essentially this one guy who is the strongest superhero in the world, but he's kind of stupid. And every episode is him trying to get to the fight with the big, strong villain and beating him with one hit. And then just being disappointed that nobody's strong enough to fight him. And it has like this whole, like his origin story is he just did 100 push-ups a day, ran 100 kilometers a day, and like became the strongest in the world till his hair fell out. Like it's the stupidest, but it is worth watching.
So I have a question about that show then.
Okay.
Because this is my pet peeve when it comes to anime. How many episodes are there?
I think there's only 2 seasons.
Okay, that's good. I'll watch that.
I haven't seen the second season yet because it's hard to get here in Canada. But I was going somewhere with this, the weeb thing. Okay. So yeah, like a weeb is a white person from America who has become obsessed with Japanese culture, but through anime. So not like real Japanese culture, like what they perceive it to be. Now, this is the explanation that was given to me. If I'm wrong, fuck, like tell me, I guess, in the comments. So like, do you say things like uwu and kawaii and
No.
have you ever said uwu?
Probably once or twice as a complete joke.
Yeah, like ironically.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's how it starts.
Yeah.
I hope Hannah listens to this. Does Hannah say uwu?
No, she does not.
Oh, good.
She does not.
Okay, that concludes our weeb segment.
So, before you got into the job you're doing now, which is the security manager, for like basically you're like a digital security manager of some sort, right? Like so you or tell me, yeah, tell people what you do now, then I'll segue to my question.
The business I've been at, they're a managed service provider, so they're basically outsourced third-party IT for businesses. You know, they can't afford in-house IT, they don't want to train people, whatever. We're full outsourced IT, so help desk support. You know, we manage their hardware assets, and I work on the security side with another guy. We're a team of two, so you know, cloud app security, workstation security. It's very much an umbrella term where I work. You know, we don't have enough guys to have like specialized security teams for like one specific thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of trades. Yeah, it's very much learn about this, and then tomorrow I need you to do this, and then the next day do this instead, sort of thing. So I learn a lot though. It's been really fun the last 2.5 years.
Nice. But it looks like you initially went to school to be, you know, you got a BS in human performance and fitness, and you were a personal trainer for a minute. So that's kind of what I wanted to get into. It said only a short time. So tell me about your time as a personal trainer. If you have any funny stories, it's been long enough now. Do you have any shitty clients you want to throw under the bus? Any funny stories, or just like listen to what this fucking asshole did?
Any stories? I honestly, well, okay. I had one client that I don't have a specific story, but he very much would say, how should I say this? Questionable things. He was kind of a womanizer, and it was one of those things like, you know, we're in a public gym, you know, and you know we have this business relationship, so it was
very awkward.
Yeah, that's probably the word. And you know, he's paying me, whatever, but yeah, that was a short time because so my original goal was to follow Big Jake the Snake, shout out. He's a strength coach, has a CSCS, and that was kind of my goal of where I wanted to end up. And I found that as I was training people at Snap Fitness, and I assistant managed the gym as well, so helping run it, you know, manage the memberships and clean it up and things like that. I found that like training people all day, I had just completely lost all motivation to work out, which was like super stressful for me. Yeah, it's kind of the one thing that I've done, I don't know, probably since 12, 13, you know, you get into lifting because the coaches want you to. So I was like, that was a big kind of a wake up call. And then I actually ended up talking to a Division II strength coach. Just he was lifting there on a random day. I think he had a guest pass. And he's telling me, you know, the pay wasn't great and I'm traveling all the time. And I'm very much like a homebody kind of guy. You know, I don't like to, you know, I definitely have a limit. I recharge better like at home. So it's kind of like, you know, the combination of that and the stress that kind of pushed me away from the gym. When Hannah and I got together, she was going to go back to school. So that was kind of the kickstart of like, well, if you're going, we have to move. That's when we moved to Watertown. So, I mean, I'm going to go with you. So I'm going back to school too.
Nice.
You're in Watertown, eh? Ooh.
That's where we were. Now we're in Crew Falls.
Mm.
We actually know where Watertown is now. Like that's why somewhere between Aberdeen and Crew Falls.
Yeah, we had Jack Nate on because of that. He's from Watertown, right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Basically square in the middle.
Whole fucking state square in it.
That's true. Big rectangle.
Yeah. Potato. Bag.
Flag.
Flick, yeah. Oh, there's so much. It's
There's so much.
Well, it's hard because like she did so like and one negative because she did such a good job is I should have gone back through and like reduced the two sentences to like 3 words and then I could like jump out at me because like I'm trying to talk and then read and I'm like okay where's okay so no we really appreciate it's more on me for not making it more podcast friendly because it's so much information. But you are a enjoyer of crispy boys. Let's hear about that. What's your favorite crispy boy?
I would say overall, so I'm not much of a beer drinker, so not really a crispy boy enjoyer there, but very much a sparkling water enjoyer.
Well, that's what I consider.
Fair enough. We're a big fan of the spin drifts. If you guys are familiar with those are probably our favorite, and a close second for me is the Waterloos as well. They have so many good flavors. I think we can get those at Costco too.
Good deal. Were you super into it before they started kind of talking about it on the podcast? Because I had never fucking heard of a sparkling water until the podcast, and it probably took me another 6 months to like even dip my toe in. And then I was like, oh, that's kind of shitty. And then I like tried it another 6 months later. I was like, ooh, I got a good one. And then it's like it's like 1 out of 3 might taste like piss, and then it's just a matter of finding the ones that you like.
Yeah, I had absolutely no interest in sparkling waters before.
Me either. Yep.
I always drank pop, but we started out with like trying different bubblies and things like that. It's more the mainstream ones, and we basically don't leave Costco or Walmart without some sort of sparkling water.
Love it. No, now think about it this way: like Massonomics in the last few years have basically introduced a genre of drink, if you will. So, because it's like there's 30 different brands, you can't just say like this one company is making $1 million off of us, but like this segment of beverages, there's 200-ish people that have probably like you got to think there's 300 plus crew. You guys have probably 1,000 people listen to the podcast, maybe I don't know, whatever, more I'm sure. At least a percentage of them. So even if it's just half of the Discord, that's 150, 200 people. It's like that many people have tried something on like someone else's recommendation via the podcast and via the Discord. Like that's kind of cool. Like the same thing with like the chicken bakes. There's probably 30, 40, 50 people that have tried chicken bakes in the last couple months, but sparkling waters would clearly like, I think that's the one that everyone has at least tried a fucking 6-pack or a 12-pack of some variation of a sparkling water in the last couple of years since being in Massonomics world, Massonomic adjacent. I think that's just cool.
Yeah, I'd be curious if they put a poll out like, yes or no, do you enjoy sparkling waters? Because I feel like the general consensus in the Discord is, it seems like most people enjoy them. I could be wrong, but it feels like it's more of a favorable response overall.
I'd say 70+% probably, like if I had to guess.
Yeah.
I never really enjoyed them. And as a bartender, I used to say that anybody who ordered a soda water was an alien pretending to be human because soda water was disgusting. And then, I got on Massonomics, and I think like it was probably about 2 months. And then I was like, fine, I'll try a bubbly, and ended up liking the bubbly. And that moved me over to PC. PC is the superior of them up here in Canada for sure.
To try me.
So Greyson, what was it like being the middle child with sisters on either end?
It was good. I think if you ask my sisters, they would probably have a different response. Me being the only boy, they pretty much, if they get a chance, they'll bring it up that I was definitely a mama's boy. Looking back now, yeah, definitely. At the time, I 100% would have said no to that, but I definitely got babied. No, I had a really good relationship with both my sisters growing up too. So, yeah, my older sister kind of took the brunt of early curfews and very strict rules, and I kind of got to ride the wave of, okay, second kid, we're a little more laid back, and okay, sure, yeah, you can stay out late, whatever. Maybe come home in the morning. So it was good.
No, on that train then, has anyone like is your baby sister okay then? Did she just not have a curfew at all and just run wild after that?
She was easily, and she laughs about it now. She was easily the wild child of the three of us, 100%.
Nice. So, did you guys ever fight over who gets to use which Tupperware for, or which big mixing bowl for cereal, or which big cookie sheet for food?
There is a very specific, I've got it in my head, very specific Tupperware bowl that I like to use for cereal. For me, it's very much an event when I have my supper. I got to have a show on and everything, so I don't.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to have to get back up to get a bigger bowl or another bowl of cereal. So I'm just going to make a super big bowl of cereal. And to harken back to Big Nathan, I saw some of his Instagram posts. He's going to hate me for this, but I love milk. So all the cereal, milk and all, it's gone. The bigger the bowl, the better.
I grew up eating like cereal was like I ate cereal like 3 or 4 nights a week for dinner half the times because it was just easy. And once I kind of like fend in for myself, it's just like what I had. But this will harken back to the sister podcast of kind of some segments they would do. Basically, just like the fattest thing you've ever done, and like this one. Now that you just mentioned that bowl, like I so like a lot of times, yeah, when I'm gonna be fat, I'm gonna eat a big ass bowl of cereal. So have you ever been so fat that you got your bowl, you made a big bowl of cereal, and then you were like, well, I'm probably going to eat a little bit more than this, and I don't want to get up. So you bring the gallon jug milk and the box of cereal out to the living room with you and just sit it next to you. You eat your full bowl of cereal and then fill the fucker back up. Because I think it's not something I did regularly, but I vividly remember doing that once or twice and just kind of being like judging myself in the moment of like, you fat piece of shit. You just ate like an entire bowl of cereal in one sitting, but you had to make it twice because it was so much fucking cereal. So yeah.
I haven't done that. Probably the closest I ever got, the cookie sheet thing. When I used to live with my parents, growing up, I remember there's a couple instances, but after a football game, my mom had gotten Wendy's and it was just tons of spicy nuggets and fries and junior cheeseburgers, and I'm just throwing them all on the cookie sheet and head downstairs. I don't want to make the second trip upstairs, so give me
that
all
sounds
of it
like
now.
a nightmare.
Yeah,
gonna affect, you're taking my gains by making me come up the stairs.
Right. I played a football game. I want to relax.
So I guess we'll harken back to, I want to say, Big Steve's episode. What's your cereal of choice?
I'm gonna have to go with Reese's Puffs.
Hell
I'm on
yeah.
a big Reese's Puffs kick lately, probably the last couple months, getting the big family size, which is funny because before that, I don't think I'd eaten cereal in probably 3 or 4 years. It was just the eggs for breakfast pretty much. Yeah. And now it's like Reese's Puffs bowl for dinner.
Yeah, we get the minis, the Reese's Puff minis for the kids. They also have pure Cinnamon Toast Crunch minis. Oh,
yeah.
Those are flying off the. Not me. I'm throwing my cereal out. I bought that protein cereal like months ago, and it's trash. So I just
which kind? Because I've been getting one at Costco that I actually really like.
This one's called Truly. They're a Canadian company. But yeah, I full on bite into rocks every bowl. Like I think I mentioned it when Steve was on. It's been unpleasant. Very sucralose tasting. Vector is, I think, the best one I've had.
Okay.
What's the Costco one you're getting, Greyson?
It's called 3 Wishes. It's like
to try that.
Kind of a faint cinnamon. It's obviously the flavor's not gonna punch you in the face.
Yeah. Well, it's fucking protein cereal. Like that's the whole point of it. Like it's gonna be shitty, but it's just gonna be just good enough to be like, okay, I'm getting my protein and I don't have to fucking cook eggs in the morning. Like I can just like I do that every day. That's my jam.
Yeah, I'd say that one's worth trying.
Okay. I'm gonna forget what you said, so if you can DM me that at some point, I'll appreciate that. But then again, I'm like, Costco's weird though. Like our Costco gets shit in, and then I'm not gonna see it ever again. And I'm assuming Costco across the fucking country has to be like, there's got to be like regional, like you're only gonna get this in like this, northeastern versus the Midwest.
I have a gripe with that. Harken back to the frozen chicken bakes. We in Crew Falls do not have them, and if we do, I am blind because I cannot find them.
Well, they're in the frozen food section. Try that. No, we do have them here. I don't know if we've always had them. I'd randomly like it's one of those things that like I probably walked by them for the past 4 years, but until I heard someone talk about them on the podcast, it just well, like I didn't even know what it was. They definitely are smaller, and the macros do. It's like it's weird. Like they're smaller, but they're fattier and less protein and more carbs. Like I don't understand how that's like scientifically possible because it's the same fucking thing, but like you're having more carbs and more fat and less protein and it's smaller. Very weird.
Because it's not the same thing.
Well, yeah, no, but I mean, like, why can't it be the same thing?
Well, okay, so I have a little insight, and I'll say, I think I mentioned it before. Sometimes the food court makes things fresh versus just selling you the frozen ones.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's what's happening here, but that could be it. Or they could just be like frozen chicken and everything else is fresh. I don't know, but that's how you get sometimes different products.
So, Grayson, if you did have frozen chicken bakes and you were to eat them in front of your TV and you're watching a YouTube video, Hannah says some of those YouTube videos might be as riveting as how roller coasters work. And I think she's setting this up to just kind of like pick on you for watching random like how-to videos. But as a guy, like, I go down a rabbit hole sometimes watching that shit. Like it can be very intriguing. Like there used to be TV shows growing up when we actually used to watch regular TV of like
TV shoes, really big TV shoe.
Yeah, get your fucking Massonomics shoes. So yeah. Sorry, I just if you wanted to rebut her kind of jab about you watching riveting things such as roller coasters.
No, she just thinks it's absolutely hilarious. She'll maybe bring me like a water, ask me if I need anything, or just come in and chat for a little bit. And I've got a second monitor set up, and usually there was a really big kick there where it was roller coaster videos, and it was a specific channel where this guy was explaining like the biomechanics of roller coasters and like the brake sections. And I love roller coasters for what it's worth. Like I think they're a blast. So she would just get a kick out of coming into the office and I'm watching something random. Like last night, I think I was watching a guy build a like snow shelter underground in Alaska. Just I don't even know how I got there, but it was a 20-minute video and I watched the whole thing.
Nice. Let's see. Well, let's see here. She said we wouldn't believe how many jeans you run through. So I would imagine by now you know that you need to buy those fucking stretchy jeans that you're as a fucking power lifter, squatter, short king, you ain't gonna fit into fucking Wranglers unless they're like, husky and clearly I'm assuming that, like I honestly haven't worn jeans in years. I only wear like kind of like looser fitting cargo pants just because jeans are not gonna fit. I'd have to wear like a size like fucking like 42 probably to like have my legs fit in a jean, and I really don't want to do that.
The my casual jeans that I have the only ones I buy are stretchy now. My work pants aren't, but she's most likely referring to when we lived in Watertown. I worked a part-time job at Menards, and I worked in hardware. And that was, I don't know, I didn't wear an odometer, but or pedometer. Yeah, I'm not a car.
Yeah, pedometer.
Yeah, no,
not a vehicle.
I mean, if you were fast, one might say maybe you had some wheels, but I don't know how fast you are.
Semi-fast, not super fast, but
it's got to be better than semi-pro.
I was walking, I don't know, 12, 15, 20,000 steps a day. And, I usually work most nights after class, right? And God, I don't know how many pairs of jeans I just wore through, and they were stretchy jeans, but
oh wow.
Yeah, it was working at Menards was probably the most pairs of jeans I've ever gone through just because of how much walking I've done or did. I definitely don't.
I still go through because at my job, I'm up and down all the time, right? Because the safes are on the floor. So if somebody wants to buy something, I got to crouch down, get into the safe to pull it out. Yeah. And it's particularly during busy days, you're doing that, 40, 50 times a day.
Yeah.
And I go through them. I only go to American Apparel or American Eagle now. And they have like these Ultra Flex. I'm still going to run through them, but at least they fit and they last longer than everything else.
They're comfortable too. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, they are. And like, if you can find like that, right? Like for me, it's 30-30 waist, 30 length. that's the golden child. But I have a 3032 right now, and they still scrunch at the bottom, and I hate it. But like, at least the waist doesn't feel like it's falling down all day.
Your 30's got to be long as shit on you, don't they? I'm at
30's perfect.
Yeah,
30's
that's exactly
perfect for me.
That's what I wear too.
That's crazy. Like, because me, a perfect pants are like 29. I must have shorter legs and a longer torso then, or something. I don't know.
There's a little extra down there for me, but they fit good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I also have a bigger belly, so my pants probably like ride lower to begin with. So if you're wearing your pants up higher a little bit, then it makes more sense.
Right up to the nipples, like a like a strong man in a 30s movie.
Just
right up to
the belt and suspenders. Rock that out.
Yeah.
Oh, that when you had mentioned work, Joey, my wife just got a new. She had a Galaxy 7 that finally died, and so she begrudgingly went and got a new phone this week. And I actually have her on Apple now, so her and I are both on Apple phone. It took like fucking the last 4 years of me prodding her, like, just please get an Apple phone next time. Like, it's so annoying that like I can't even send you a calendar invite without it being.
Don't make me send green texts. Like, it's so mean.
I can't text Joey and Keith. I'm an Android enjoyer.
Well, I'm jealous because her I dropped the same amount of money she did, like right before the Lift Hard Live Easy with what was the flagship Apple phone at the time, but now it's a year behind. And my phone probably, because like the new one, it's like the lighter, it's the different metal, right? So it's however much lighter. You wouldn't think it's noticeable. Like my phone and if I have both phones in my hand, her phone is like, I swear to God, it feels 20% lighter. So I'm so pissed that I'm locked. I mean, I guess I could trade this fucker in, but like I bought the expensive insurance plan and shit, and I'm sure that's not transferable. So I have to eat all that and eat whatever I would get on a trade in. So I'd be out $400 or $500 just to get a lighter phone. So fuck that. I'm gonna ride this bitch in the ground. But it's just,
you got the Geek Squad. Yeah, that's what was stupid. You just get Apple Care because Apple Care is refundable.
Yeah.
If it's like,
I did. No, I did. I did. So the Geek Squad thing was when I was trying to milk life out of my old phone. So I went I did go to the Apple store. Bought everything's at Apple, so I guess I could look at
Apple Care is refundable.
Okay, I'll look into that.
It's a prorated refund, but don't make me work. I'm not doing my job.
No. Yeah. We're good.
But it makes sense
ask Grace,
because Grayson, you're a developer, right? So it makes sense that you're leaning towards that Android.
I'm not a developer.
You're developer adjacent.
Maybe.
IT is all.
I don't code anything. I'm not an engineer.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're IT.
Yeah,
I made up the word developer when I meant IT.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna have another beer.
You created that word? Did you just create it from scratch?
Just came to him.
But yeah, I find that a lot of people who work on that side either love Apple or absolutely hate it, and yeah, I mean,
it's interesting.
I need something that works, and so I'm always gonna go Apple.
Since they switched to USB-C with this new generation, I've actually considered it. Mm-hmm. I'm actually the only person in my family that has an Android phone. Everyone else has had an iPhone for like probably 8 years. Mm-hmm. So I've debated on switching for no reason other than I'm just curious. Like, I don't have loyalty really. It's just all I've ever used.
Yeah.
So I may switch. Mine's, I think, 3 years old now. I have the S20.
I rarely plug my phone in unless it's in the car. I use wireless charging for everything.
Yeah.
Actually, including right now, because I jumped to the 15 and it's USB-C. And of course, none of my USB-Cs are laying anywhere because they're only being used for my PlayStation or my Bluetooth speaker in the gym. So I was like, wait a second, I have like 3 wireless chargers laying around. So my phone is now permanently connected to a magnetic charger.
And do those chargers output enough power, or is it semi slow?
20 watt, I think, is the maximum you can get from MagSafe charging.
And that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's the maximum most phones will handle.
Yeah.
Right. So as long as you have the right setup, you got a USB-C, block and all that shit, you can get 20 watts, 25 watts.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, Keith is looking for something else to talk about.
No, you're good. There was something I saw earlier that I want to get back to the story. Oh, okay. So you almost wrecked a car once listening to the Massnomics podcast when Tanner had something to say about a funny logo on a shirt, possibly, or a quote.
Oh, okay. I think I know where she's going with this.
Yeah.
I don't remember the episode. but I think they were talking about, I don't know if they were talking about like what designs, like they could put anything on a shirt and people would buy it maybe.
That's what she was fishing for, that one.
And he laughs and goes, wieners. And I think we were driving home or something. I don't know if we were heading back to Watertown or what, but yeah, that just had us both just absolutely crying.
Now you are, as being a former gym member down there, from what I've gathered, of actually becoming friends with a handful of the gym members down there that aren't necessarily crew, but are crew adjacent. Like, there's not a lot of guys there that consume the podcast. Like, there's like Ross said, I don't think he's ever listened to an episode other than the one that he was on. And well, I don't even think he even listened to that one. He just like, other than like episodes they've been on and stuff, like there just doesn't seem to be a lot of. Well, obviously they talk to Tanner every day, so they just. I've always been curious of like, do you think there's a reason why people in the gym aren't into the podcast? Is it like listening to your buddies do a podcast kind of thing? Like I don't know. Like I don't know that I wouldn't want. So I guess sorry. I asked a question and I'm going to talk over you. Sorry, but like I would feel weird recommending this podcast.
Did you ask a question?
Yeah, I'm trying to fish of why more Massonomics gym members don't listen to Tanner and Tommy's podcast.
Can you please speak on behalf of all of them?
I'm poorly. I'm using us as a simile or whatever the fuck as a comparison of like I wouldn't recommend my friends to listen to my podcast.
I don't. Yeah,
niche.
Yeah,
their podcast isn't as niche anymore. Like their podcast was super niche like 7 years ago, but now it's just like interviewing people in the community with like 80% of the time. Like that's anyone could listen to that. So sorry to kind of. Do you have any opinion on this, Greyson?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? From my perspective, anyway. I think because like, I was around, or tried to support them early on, right? Buy an original shirt or whatever. Like I liked what they were doing, and they're good guys. And I definitely have a backlog to get through, right? Like I'm not caught up. Like I think you guys might be caught up. I've got a fair amount of episodes I need to get through, but I feel like I'm kind of in between where I trained there and I knew them, like before Massonomics, but I was still interested in the content. But now that I don't live there, I feel like I want to keep up to date.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm consuming the Discord, I'm consuming the podcast. I try to watch their stories. I've exclusive got Massonomics Gym on Snapchat, so occasionally you get a Snapchat from time to time. So I think for me, it's a little bit of now that I'm not there, I want to be as involved as possible, or up to date maybe would be the right phrase. And I don't know if maybe like you said, Keith, since they're there, they're seeing Stereogate happen in real time. Like maybe it's less interesting to them, whereas all of us are like, chomping at the bit. Like I want to know. I need the conclusion.
Do you? Here's one. Do you think Larry the Legend has ever listened to any podcast of any genre once in his entire life? As I would say, I don't think he has. No, I don't. I don't think Larry knows how to operate any podcast app on his phone.
I don't think so. I love Larry, but I don't think so.
Yeah, that seems fair. But I just found it curious. Like all the guys I met, like there's like I there's 7-8 guys that I met that are like solely lifters at Massonomics that did the meet and stuff. But like I think some of them might even technically be supporting members, but like aren't active in Discord at all. They just like did it just to like kind of continue to support the guys, but like just didn't really get into our aspect of it. And I guess it's just because they, the only thing I think of is just because they see them, where they're at the gym 4 or 5 times a week and like they're there already, so they don't necessarily need to be overstimulated by it. Is all I can think of. So I just
right.
But okay, enough bashing on people that don't listen to the podcast. Anything else in there?
They're not going to hear it.
That's true. Yeah, if they don't, no, that would be funny. So I was trying to get Ryan DeFay on the podcast, but I was trying to fish to see if he listened to any episodes yet. And he kind of like had basically has said he hadn't really dove in yet. So potential future guest down the road. Maybe when if he hears this, reach out to me and then we'll get you on there, Brian. Anything not highlighted you want to talk about, Joey?
Yeah, and I was saving it for the last thing.
Let's have it. I'm good. I'm tapped out.
There's one thing that I've always wanted to talk to people about, But I found that it might have been a little gatekeepy, and that's never been my intention. And one of the questions I always want to ask people is, have you ever participated or won a Massonomics contest? I have won one. I know, Keith, I think you've won one.
No.
Or placed in one.
I think I got a drink spotter or something, but I don't even think it was an award via Reddit or something.
Okay, so the only reason I never asked that is, having won one, I don't want to be like lording over at people. But I'm gonna lord over a little bit. You've never even participated in one, Greyson?
That's right. Yeah, I haven't.
That's insane. Why though? Like, just why?
You're talking strictly like the Instagram or
well, because you've done the real life ones that nobody else can do.
Yep.
But so is that a reason why?
I think for me, at least in the past, like when I would record my lifts in the gym, it was usually in very empty gyms. Like when I lifted at Snap, I would lift like mid-afternoon because I would go there after my classes and the gym would be dead, right? And same thing at the gym in Watertown. That's literally what it's called. That place was huge, super cool place, by the way. And usually pretty empty, right? So I think for me, part of it is like I don't ever want to be that guy that's like doing a Jefferson deadlift in the middle of the gym recording 700 people.
Yeah.
And I'm probably more a little on like the reserved side. Like I just don't want to I don't want to be that guy. That's probably the best way to say it. Like inconvenience people or however it would be perceived. I think if I had a home gym or a basement or garage gym, I would be way more inclined to participate in them.
Okay, but that's like one. You've never done a meme contest. You didn't do the garage reveal
I don't consider myself creative at all. I just enjoy all the good memes that people put out.
I was just wondering because I saw that as a stat, and then I was just like,
yeah.
But half the fun is like winning these or joining these and being in them. So I'm just wondering.
And I think now, that I'm getting to know so many more crew better, right? Like leading up to the Lift Hard, Live Easy, I got more involved in the Discord and meeting a bunch of crew and talking to you guys. That I think if you have some of that camaraderie, it makes it more fun. And now that I think that I'm getting to know people better, that I'd be more inclined to
love it,
put it out.
That's why we're here. Get you on here, get everybody to know you, get you, a little more opened up. Oh shit! I was gonna say something there. Go ahead, Keith. Maybe my brain will bring it back.
So was that a was that a maybe, or was that because I'm gonna go ahead and just say I'm challenging you as one of the hosts of the Unpaid and Underrated podcast, that whatever the next contest is, you got to do it. Like, now that you just said like the whole thing holding you back potentially was just not being part of the bigger group. Now you're part of the bigger group, man. You're in the inner circle of the outer circle, if you will. That's a kind of a good analogy. So yeah, but some like
can we get a diagram for that?
Yeah, well, so the outer circle,
the spreadsheet.
So look at it like if the inner circle was literally Massonomics gym, and then the outer circle is crew, because like we're so now you're in the inner circle of crew that now that you've like got in balls deep in Discord and did met like what was it like meeting like what the 30 plus of us that literally flew in and spent thousands of dollars to come to Aberdeen and hang out in Tanner's backyard. What was that like?
What was it like meeting me?
Oh, no, not us. Fucking like
no. I think I have a good answer for this.
No, I just love poking at Keith every once in a while when he asks silly shit like that. It's like, hey, how really cool was it to meet me? Like, was that like the coolest thing?
Be honest. Be honest.
Fuckers.
No, I feel like from time to time, like there are things that the other podcast does that's just like, I can't believe that they're where they are, knowing where they started. Like Hannah and I kind of talk about that from time to time. So like knowing that there was Joey and Keith and Scance and even people driving like Big Jen 8-9 hours from Iowa, whatever it was, like I just couldn't get over how crazy that was, but like in a really cool way. Like what they've built, like it was kind of just I mean, the weekend was awesome. Obviously, I think everyone could say that, but knowing like where they started and where they're at now, and they get so many people to come for this meet is just
I think about that a lot.
I can't really describe it. Yeah, I can't put it into words properly. Yeah. We talk about it, like I said, Hannah and I from time to time, but it's just like, that's insane.
I think about it a lot, and I'll be like driving and I'll just think to myself, like, so I've been into powerlifting meets. I went to like this big deadlift competition that brought in people from all over the world. But like, I've never seen anything like what the Lift Hard Live Easy was. Like, all of these people who didn't know each other, we just like fucking got up and went to this unknown podunk city that we like would never have heard of if it wasn't for this podcast. We all flew there, destroyed the economy for 3 days, offended the locals with our terrible t-shirts,
and standing up at powerlifting meets.
Yeah, standing up at powerlifting meet, but like, it was just it was honestly just like friends that were like, you know, you see it in movies. We're like, oh, we all get together once a year and we just, you know, like that's what it was, and it was so fucking cool, and I cannot wait to do it again. Yeah.
I don't know. I'll touch on that real quick before we move on to another segment here. Sorry. The poll that I put up on Instagram the other week, basically, what do you consider Massonomics? Essentially, the paraphrase it was a community, podcast, an apparel company, or a meme page. 80, I don't know the rate. It was at least, it was over 80% said community. So then I was like, I really, and it was a fair amount. There was like 67 people probably answered it. Like a fair amount of people answered it. So that made me happy because like it was kind of like, well, that's what I wanted people to answer that. But then like there was a lot of people that still like, you know, you could tell like people that like I kind of only recognize like that still follow the podcast but like aren't super interactive on Discord or something. Like a lot of them did pick like a podcast or, you know, the meme page or something. Just kind of like, I don't know, you take that with a grain of salt. A lot of people just fucking answer the poll wrong just to fuck with me now. Sometimes I feel too, but it was the overwhelming majority of the people said community, and like that's why I'm here. Like I don't give a fuck about. I don't like memes are a dime a dozen. I'm sorry. Like everyone can fucking do a meme nowadays. It's like if like and Tanner says it all the time. Like if they tried to start what they were doing today, they would have no fucking success like at all. Like I don't feel just because they've spent the last 7 years like accruing us, if you will, pun intended. That like now they can kind of do whatever, and they've got us hooked. They've got thousands of us hooked now, and specifically 300 of us like by the balls, and we'll kind of follow them wherever.
By the wallet.
Yeah, one and the same.
So now that you've been on this podcast and you're going to start, you know, hopefully you get engaged and all that, be prepared to be tagged a lot in a lot of stuff. It's not a bad thing. It's just be prepared for notification.
That's good with me. I think that's fun.
Every time I open my phone, I have a new tag or share or notification, and I'm just like, it's funny because you know you that's why you get on social media. You get on social media to get out there and see people. And I think I've mentioned it before. It's like for me, I used to be really big and really community based and blah, blah, blah. And then I shrunk that, and I don't have Facebook anymore. I don't have Twitter anymore. I don't have Snapchat anymore. I shrunk it, but that means my Instagram is blown up. And it's like, on one hand, it's unnerving, you know, getting to the Lift Hard Live Easy and people recognized me was unnerving. Being recognized at work, just like somebody I work with being like, hey, for some reason you showed up on my Instagram, so I followed you. And like, you immediately panic a second because you're just like, this is work. You're not supposed to. But then you really think like, all I'm doing is lifting. If you want to watch that, fucking great. So that's a really weird concept, is like, you kind of want it to happen, but then it happens and you're just like a little like, I'm not totally comfortable, but it's kind of what I wanted to do. So be prepared. You're going to get tagged a lot in the next little while.
That's good with me.
Absolutely. Do you want to talk about some smelling salts there, Joey?
No, but yeah, absolutely. You know, just reminder to everybody to use our code unpaid at Obsidian Ammonia or hypedust.com. If you are into smelling salts, they are probably one of the top tier. I've I love their smells. I love their scents. And Travis is an amazing guy. His marketing is fantastic. So use code unpaid, save yourself 15% and, helps out the podcast a little bit.
Yeah. I think I might need to buy another. So like I've not done smelling salts up until like the last couple months. And now it's like, I'm trying not to get addicted by any means. But this week, I hit like a heavy bench, heavy feet up bench, like fucking AMRAP or some shit, and definitely did my top 2 sets. I did a little shot of it, and like it's hard because it's like I don't want to get too close because sometimes it'll really waft in, but then other times if I get to that same closeness, that I like it's almost like non-existent. So it's like,
I have so many stories.
Can you add more water to it? At
Yes.
This point?
Yes.
Okay. So
you can refresh it a bit with a little water, a little shake in it, heat it up.
All right. I think I need to do a little. I think I need to do that. It's like it's weird that it.
One of my favorite videos, speaking of getting shared and tagged and shit, is I got a bottle of nose bleach. So some of the salts you're going to get have an activator and some don't. So the nose bleach does not. Okay. That is the Dim Mac. I think the new one also might not. So sometimes when you get them, the bottle is swelled up a bit. Well, there's a video of me opening a bottle of nose bleach and you audibly hear pop. And like, I'm holding it away because I'm not stupid. Like it's nose bleach and it pops and I go, like instantly because like it just walked my whole basement fucking reeked of it. It was amazing. But then there's other ones where like, I'm like, is it? And then it goes directly like a spike into your eyeball. And it goes behind your eye and makes you cry. I got one of my, I have so many salt stories. And I think Scance is the same thing. And so is Scott. Like I will bring them to work meetings. And I will place them on the table in front of me. And I'll just be like, if I see you starting to fade, I'm throwing this at you and you got to do it. And everybody does. Like almost nobody has like scared away or shied away or anything like that. But yeah, just watching people like, what is it's cat pee that smells like whiskey. Like what? Like
yeah, that gives me a good idea. I got to try that. Joey, that made me think of something. You were talking about activators for smelling salts. So everyone at the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic got a bottle of smelling salts, right? From
yes, I actually haven't opened mine yet.
Yeah, so don't know what I have. Don't know what I've ever opened.
I've got mine, and I had some friends and coworkers from Crew Falls actually make the trip up to come and hang out and everything. They were just watching. They came to, and none of them had tried smelling salts, so I wanted them to try it.
Oh,
so I cracked my bottle of smelling salts for them, and I'm warning them like, okay, you've never done this before. Don't just slam your face in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they're kind of
and nothing's happening.
Being cautious and nothing's happening, and they all probably rotated the bottle, I don't know, 10 times and nothing happened. And I don't know if I'm just dumb or because I was smelling other bottles of the smelling salts when I was doing my attempts, and it was pretty strong. And then I opened my bottle and I'm like, did I get a dud? I wasn't getting anything from it.
The activator fell off the cap.
That must have been what it was.
Is it in the bottle?
Let's see.
I just had to add water to mine, and then but I guess it was add to the cap and then flip it over.
So when you say activator,
so there's 3 kinds. There's the kind of the cotton ball, that's like your nose bleach and your Dim Mac. There's the kind that has an activator powder in it, that is a little baggie. Okay, and you open the baggie, pour it in and shake. And others, you put a little drop of water in. And that activates it. So it'll say it on the bottle.
Okay, so maybe the activator fell out or something. I just didn't notice it.
If there's a baggie activator, he normally jams them into the lid so that when you open it, it comes off with the lid. But if not, it's a water one.
Yeah.
I could have. Did you add water to that one?
I hadn't tried. No.
Oh, then I would have. I have like no experience with smelling salts except the bottle that you have, and I opened it up, unpeeled the seal, added the cap full of water, and it's good to go.
If there's a seal, it needs water.
Well, that shows my smelling salts ability.
Do you have
There's
water?
direction.
Do you have water
I'm pretty sure
on
there's
you?
directions.
Do you have
right
water on
it.
you? Do you want to do this on camera for the first time?
Well, so
and even if you have to go get it, we can pause it for like 30 seconds to watch you do the first shot of that.
I can go run and get some. I mean, I should preface, I've tried smelling salts.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I have tried them.
Well, good. Now you know our code, and you can try some more.
Well, if you won't activate them now, we do need an update by the time this episode hits, so we can post to the Instagram if all it took was water or not.
I used to do them like all the time to just try and hype myself up, and now I actually don't do them very often at all. Like even today's top RP 2 reps, I didn't touch any ammonia. One of my guys at work got addicted to it. He was doing it. He took it to a wedding. And he was like, I'm going to be up partying all night. And then like 2 days later, he was like, I was having heart palpitations. I need to stop. And I was like, you need to fucking stop. Like stop now, you psycho. Because I used to have the headshot and I'd carry it in my fanny pack. Because when I drive home, sometimes after a really long shift, it's a 35-minute drive, but it's all just highway. And it's so easy to drift off that I started putting ammonia in my fanny pack just in case. Because like I have fallen asleep driving home twice. I don't never want to do it again. So I just I let him try it the one time, and like 2 seconds later, he's got my code open and he's ordering some, and like, but yeah, he got addicted. Don't do that. Don't get addicted to that shit.
Well, now you guys got me wanting to try it, so I think I've got to activate it.
Do it.
Give it a shot. I need to go get some water though. So
okay, we're just gonna do a quick. Go ahead. We're gonna do a quick clap.
Yeah. Piss break.
Nate, pause. Piss break. Yeah, I want to preface this before you do this, as I did a shot either last week or the week before while recording this podcast, and I was up till 1 a.m. I could not get to sleep.
Well, let's look at the clock. Bedtime is less than 2 hours, so I would say that's good odds.
You'll be doing okay. So what you've done is you've added some water and you're shaking it, and it's getting hot in your hands, right?
It is very much getting warm.
Yep. That's what it's supposed to do.
So somebody didn't add water in July, apparently.
Yeah, you should just read. Reading is good.
It 100% specifically says.
Don't.
No, I wouldn't have done that. Chris had to show me how to do it, but when I did kind of like look at it again, I was like, oh, it does say right here.
Yeah, I was confused. I genuinely thought I got a dud bottle.
Readings for nerds.
I learned today there was 3 different styles, so I'll have to keep that in mind if and when I get new pneumonia.
And I don't even think Travis listens to the podcast, so like he's not even going to hear me doing these teach outs of ammonia.
We get a good clip. We can make it real or something, but we need someone to volunteer to help do that because I ain't got time for that shit.
Anybody got time for that?
No.
All right, well, let's give it a taste.
Let's go, Big Greyson.
Now, before you do that, no, go ahead, go. Nope. Might as well. You got it open now. Oh, right in the eyeballs.
That was in the eyes.
Big Greyson taking his first shot of ammonia from the Lift Hard Live Easy. I love it.
Yeah, right. It goes right up the nose and in behind the eyes, and then it just.
To the other host, that is not a dud bottle. I apologize.
Sorry, Tanner.
There's been times too where like I hand it to somebody and I'm just like, yeah, this is like the weakest one I have. So like, yeah, and then they'll die. Like their eyes will go red and they'll cry, and I'm just like, I was about to throw that bottle out. Like,
it's okay. That just reminded me. It's funny you say that. So that this was probably, I don't know, 3 years ago now. We were in Aberdeen for something. I don't remember what it was for, but obviously I got a lift in at Massonomics Gym, and I had tried Juji Mufu's smelling salts, and
that stuff has slaps.
I was so close to not being able to hit my bench attempt, like literal tears. And that's never happened to me before. I mean, like I said, I'm not using smelling salts a lot, but just tears. And I'm like, wow, that was strong. Super strong.
His stuff is fucking insane. And like, so the one meet I did, the last meet I did, I was going through and I was like, I went through like 3 bottles that were just dead. And then some, like, and they were all obsidian, but they were just dead. They were just there for so, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then somebody handed me his, and I was like, all right, sure. And I was like, what? And then even I was like, that's almost too strong for me. And I love nose bleach. Like,
yeah, it was borderline. I definitely almost way too much.
Yeah.
It was good.
Okay. That's our ad read.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, code unpaid and add water.
No, just code unpaid and follow the instructions.
Yeah, true. 100%.
Stay in school, kids.
I think we got a game we should play.
Yeah, all right. You want to do unpaid and underrated?
That is our game. You familiar with the game there, Mr. Greyson? Unpaid being overrated and underrated being underrated. Use your druthers, all that fun stuff. So I will dive in for whole screen just moved. Shit.
Yeah, it was me. I'm adding things.
Son of a gun. All right. Well, I'm gonna jump in here. So I'll just go from the top. So unpaid or underrated, Mr. Greyson. Silver Star car washes.
So I'm gonna use my druthers here for sure. I think the consensus is in general underrated for me personally. Very much unpaid. For those that don't know, doesn't really matter, but it adds context to the story. I had gotten a new vehicle earlier this year and replaced my first car that I drove for like 12 years. And wanted to take care of it, keep it looking nice, and I ran it through some automatic car washes, and it's a black car. And I noticed that there was, and Hannah laughs at me. She's like, I can't even see them. Tons of small swirls and scratches on the new paint. And I'm like, God damn it. And she's just laughing at me like she can't even see them. But like, so very much unpaid for me. Won't ever use them again. Touchless only, or I'll wash my own car.
I have a story similar to yours. So there's a car wash by me that you buy a subscription to. You pay every month and you can go once a day, anytime you need to. And because I don't like if I can't see out my windshield, and I hadn't realized that my windshield wipers were shit, I was just like getting my car washed all the time. Well, the one day I go through the car wash, and keep in mind, I've been going here for 2 years at this point. My fucking back windshield wiper falls off. We're driving, and I go to use it to wipe, and then suddenly it just flies off. And I'm like, what? And then the next time we go through, it rips my antenna off. And my antenna is $1,000 to fix minimum.
Wow.
Because it's a Sirius XM antenna. And so, like, I had to go in there and be like, I need to cancel my subscription. The guy's like, yeah, no problem. He starts talking. He turns to me and goes, suggest a reason why. And then I was like, irreparable damage, man. Like, I'm not mad about it because it's not like you were in there busting up my car. But yeah, those automatic car washes. And it just happened to coincide with us installing a hose right outside so I can do it myself. But like, yeah, stay away from automatic car washes. Touchless only or do it yourself. And get good windshield wipers.
That makes sense. That's all sound advice. All right, number 2 for me, I am going to ask.
It's like, I saw that look, Grayson. That stuff's still hitting you, isn't it?
I feel like we just started. I'm good for 2 more hours.
You really are ready to dive right in, then, huh? As one would say. All right, so unpaid or underrated Marlin's truck stop restaurants.
I'm going to have to say I don't mind the food, but there's nothing special about it. I'm going to have to go with unpaid, I think.
Huh.
They just, it's...
Is that like a popular thing out where you guys are at?
It's very much, I don't know if it's like a Midwestern thing. Maybe it is. Yeah, there's for sure one in Aberdeen. I don't know if there's any. Yeah, unpaid.
Yeah, I think this might have been one that from someone that maybe just knew where you were from and just kind of threw it out there. So
what is it like? Like, I think we stopped at several truck stops. I am for a guy who is my size and stature, I'm very comfortable at truck stops for some we've discovered on our last trip to the Midwest. And there was one that had like a gym and a showers and a gaming room and like a lounge. And then there was the other smaller ones that had the weird shit, like the swords and wolf shirts.
we talk about truck stops a lot.
Or is Marley's like, is Marlin's like different? Is it like a diner?
It's at least the one in Western Northeast South Dakota is very much a diner. And I would say it's probably middle of the road, right? It's probably like half diner and then half convenience store. I don't even know if that one has. I assume it has showers. I haven't checked. Yeah, it doesn't do anything special. I think the Watertown truck stop, that's where Hannah and I like to stop when we make our road trips. That one's super nice. Like they've got claw games and stuff, like you said. Like it's very much a big, yeah, I
think that's the one we might have stopped in because
it could have been. It's huge.
It was the one I stopped in. No, actually that one was closer to Minnesota, but I did stop in one in not Aberdeen, but like, so we're coming from the east, obviously, and we stopped at a truck stop, and that is where like it was just uncomfortable amount of political stuff, swords, and like wacky shit. But then they are also selling my favorite energy drink for $1 a can, and then I was like, I might clear you out, but like that might have been.
Did you drive in or over through Minnesota then?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm guessing you probably either went through the Watertown truck stop or the Summit truck stop. And both of
I think this one was right out, like right at the edge of Minnesota.
Yeah, they're both. It might have been Summit then, which that's a new truck stop too. Like, yeah, it's a big deal in these small towns.
Wild.
Get these big gas stations and truck stops.
Like if this was a Mad Max, I expected an Octagon. Like,
all right, Greyson. Speaking of Minnesota, let's go with unpaid or underrated Minnesota Vikings.
Oh God. In my heart, I want to say they're underrated, but they're very much unpaid, especially if you live on this side of the state. There are so many Vikings fans, and anyone that's not a Vikings fan probably just thinks they are insufferable to be around because they're always mediocre, and they get your hopes up just enough to make you think that they might be worth something, and then they're just garbage, and it never fails. So, unpaid.
That's everybody's team.
That's what it is. Yeah,
but it's especially Toronto.
So their heyday with Moss, Culpepper, and Carter and all those guys, that would have been, you would have probably been too young to really be a part of that or follow that. Because I was in middle school or in elementary school, and that was a thing, probably maybe middle school.
Yeah, I was born in '95, so I caught,
Okay, yeah, you were like fucking 3 when Moss was in the league.
Yeah, my memories were like Brad Johnson, I remember like Moeldy Moore, Michael Bennett, like those guys, which was like the tail end / really not, Carter was like, kind of done by the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, I'll hand the baton to Mr. Joey, and he'll bring us home on these last 3.
Cool. I added 2, and one was there before. I don't know why I announce that every week.
People want to know.
People want to know, like, what last minute adjustments did I make to drive Keith insane?
I'm good. It's just funny. I always feel like you pick up steam towards the end of the podcast because you're 3 sheets to the wind, and I'm like, I'm tired. Are we done yet?
But so it's funny because I'm the same way at work after a long shift. So like I'll come in like ready to go, like let's do this, let's get to work. And then about halfway through the shift, I'm exhausted. I hate this. I want to go home. I'm leaving. I don't care. But then like let's say it's a 12-hour shift. The last 2 hours, I'm at my most excited because like I'm probably delirious at that rate. Jacked on caffeine and probably smelling salts. But I know I go home soon. Yeah. I'm so happy when I get to go home soon, and I'm exhausted. So yeah, I pick up steam towards the end there because like I've been talking to somebody for the past little while and it's exciting. So unpaid or underrated metalcore. I always get that question. They always leave that one for me.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that's different from the one we had last week, right?
Well, deathcore was the one we had last week.
Yeah.
Deathcore is the brie, and metalcore is the bleh.
Yeah, unless it says country or like southern rock, I'm probably not going to touch it.
Yeah, I think for me, that's underrated. I think it's fantastic. Another thing Hannah gives me shit for, we have opposite tastes in music. Metalcore and that kind of subgenre is pretty much all I listen to, regardless of what I'm doing.
So who's your favorite? Who's your favorite at the moment? Like, obviously, if it's your favorite genre, you're going to cycle favorites all the time.
You know, so I can't think of the song names right now, but I can get you the band here in 2 seconds.
Is it Electric Callboy? Because it should be.
Well, and so I'm not super good with subgenres, so maybe this doesn't qualify. You can tell me, Joey. It's shoot, where is it? If I Were You. That's like heavy what I'm into right now.
Oh, I've never even heard of that. That's fun.
They've got some songs that are pretty heavy. So I'm very much underrated for me. Like that's my hype music. That's my I'm driving to work at 7:30 in the morning music or home. Doesn't really matter. Underrated.
Have you heard Electric Callboy? This would be like the 15th time I've gone on about them in however many episodes we've had.
I haven't.
Okay. You might want to if you're a metalcore fan.
Take some notes. Electric Callboy.
Yeah, they're called Eskimo Callboy in the rest of the world, but in North America, that shit gets you canceled, so they're Electric Callboy. And yeah, it's a metalcore band. If you go back and listen to their older stuff, a really shitty metalcore band, who suddenly realized that they'd have more fun being funny. And yeah, definitely give them. They add some techno into it. They add some like dubstep. They have elements of deathcore and metalcore. It's out there.
That's interesting because I definitely went through a EDM phase for sure. I went to EDC in Las Vegas. For anyone not familiar, that's like the biggest festival in North America. So I don't really listen to it anymore, but that sounds pretty interesting. I used to listen to that. I used to listen to it a lot.
It's one of those things where like you'd go, well, why don't more people? Like the Prodigy did it a little bit, right? Remember the Prodigy? Firestarter, Smack My Bitch.
No.
Oh, geez. Okay, so they did a little bit of like a hardcore crossover with EDM. But these guys, for some reason, like you would think when somebody explains that to you, where they're like, well, they're kind of dance, but then they also have elements of metalcore and deathcore. You'd go like, those don't match. Well, when Electric Callboy does it, they fucking do. So you might enjoy that one.
Cool. Yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm gonna look them up.
Yeah, that one and the one I mentioned last week, Jaluka, they do the same thing. They're a Japanese metalcore band. Everybody's been asking me in the Discord to repeat it, so it's Jaluka. And if you look up Black or BLVCK, that's when you'll get the most bleh.
Yeah.
All right. I'll give you a second to take your notes. All right. Unpaid or underrated sushi?
My one experience with it was not good.
Did you get sick?
No, I did not get sick. I just looked like an idiot. I'm gonna say unpaid, and I'll tell you why. We were at a one of those open grills where they make your food in front of you and everything. I can't even know. Hibachi. Oh yeah, like a hibachi type.
Grill. Yeah.
And we were with Hannah's family, and I wanted to try sushi, and I can't remember if I got actual raw fish or not, but it was rolled up and everything, and and I hadn't just ever tried it before, and I got it's served with wasabi, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, here we go.
So I'm like, holy shit, guacamole.
Yes.
Oh, you dumbass. Oh, I love it.
Probably half of it. Like I had it like on my tongue when Hannah and her mom were like, don't. It was too late.
No, don't. Yeah.
It was way too late. And I don't even know if it was real wasabi, but it doesn't matter because that shit was hot and incredibly uncomfortable. Very much unpaid.
Wasabi does the same thing ammonia does. It goes right up your nose.
Like it was not pleasant. It was bad.
I have to defend sushi. You can't judge overall sushi based on your poor decision to house guacamole slash wasabi.
Oh, sweet guacamole on my raw fish. I'm so fucking excited.
That's
like I would like I hate hot stuff, but I might eat wasabi over fucking guacamole and sushi because that'd be a weird ass. Like I can't even imagine. Oh god.
I'm dying here because I'm just thinking of the thought process of raw fish. Oh, sweet guacamole.
it's exactly. There's nothing else going on in my brain except
that's good. That's awesome.
And I love fish, so
and probably goes on fish. Oh, that's fantastic.
That made me so happy to hear this.
Yeah, that was. I wish I'd done that one last.
I'm gonna post that as a story or a reel.
Oh, well, the reason I asked is because of the weeb stuff. That I was just like, how far into this is he?
Yeah.
All right.
And I very much love fish too. So
give it another try and just ask
I would
a few more questions.
I wouldn't eat the guacamole.
Quick follow up: do you eat a lot of guacamole with regular fish? Like, is that a thing? It's like,
no.
I'm just.
Okay,
I don't know. I don't know
the fish and chip shop, and he's getting his Friday fish and chips, and he's just like, also, don't forget the guac.
Yeah, that's never happened, and I grew up eating a lot of fish with all the fishing I did with my dad, so I don't know where that came from.
I love that. That's my favorite thing so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm kind of upset. I don't think this one is going to be as fun, but I wanted to get your take on it. Unpaid or underrated, Brock Lesnar.
South Dakota boy. I think.
Well, you did some wrestling. He was an NCAA champion.
I was not an NCAA champion. I wrestled for 1 year in middle school.
I know. I'm just.
And then I think he's underrated because I think it's super cool that he's from Webster. Yeah, I was a shit wrestler though. So.
And now he's Canadian.
Is he?
Yeah, he's dual citizen. He bought a ranch. He bought a ranch out west. That's fuck this. I'm tired of people. He just bought a place as far away from humans as he could get. All right, bonus question: unpaid, underrated, SpongeBob.
Oh, absolutely underrated, 100%.
It is a great show.
I grew up watching SpongeBob. Hannah and I quote it all the time. Our friends quote it. Honestly, I think it's funnier the older I've gotten. I think there's so much hidden humor in it, and yeah, definitely underrated.
With my 2-year-old running around just learning gibberish, I often doodle bob at her. And I'll just say, hi. I'll just start.
That's good.
My wife knows it. My wife knows doodle bob better than I do, but I do that to her all the time. Or in university, we would call stepping on a beach.
Oh, yeah.
But that was our code for let's go get hammered. You guys want to go stepping on a beach tonight? Yeah, do stepping on a beach. And yeah. So, all right, I agree. Well, I think you passed unpaid and underrated. Especially that sushi story. I should have saved that one for last. But I never know where this shit's gonna go.
Yeah.
Where I just made the Japanese connection, and I was like, I wonder if I'll get anything out of him based on the weave conversation. And no, we got gold.
Did that actually? So did that traumatize you for a minute when you were the next time you actually saw guacamole at a real Mexican restaurant or any were you fuck that, I'm not getting tricked again?
No, because he didn't order fish.
Yeah. No, I like guacamole enough. I actually just had it in my burrito today. Actually, delicious.
Love guacamole. I do homemade guacamole all the time.
Yeah. No, I think it was just that that first 5 or 10. Shit.
And interestingly, I add cayenne to my guacamole when I make it, so my guacamole is already spicy.
Yeah, I am not a hot foods guy at all, so that made that even worse.
Oh my god, yeah, I can imagine. Oh, I'm sorry.
Jalapenos are very hot for me, very, very hot, and it ruins my taste for the food.
I brush my teeth with wasabi. It's delicious for me. So
yeah,
I can imagine just sneaking that up on you. You poor guy.
That's fine.
All right. You got anything you want to ask us there, Mr. Greyson, for one of our closing segments?
Yeah, I've got a few questions here. Harkening back to Dr. Big Jake's episode, you guys had asked him, he's a doctor and all.
Allegedly,
supposedly. You guys had mentioned, being he's a doctor. He kind of went through a story of with the profession he's in, he gets asked things, diagnose me, fix me, whatever, off the clock. I want to know, based on your guys' day jobs or maybe a special skill you guys have or something you're good at that's maybe not your day job, do you have like one specific story that's super funny or totally off the wall involving someone asking you about that?
Mm-hmm. I don't have anything like necessarily specific that I can think off the top of my head, but like I get asked about like clearly everyone knows I'm a home gym guy, and I get regularly people that like are trying to get into home gym, like people that like people that are already into the home gym scene, like they can do their own research and shit, but like people like just someone I knew from high school the other day that like just randomly follows me. She was like, "Hey, this is my home gym." She sent me like a fucking like a 2-minute video of like walking me through it. I was like, "I really want to. I'm thinking about moving this over here and moving that there. Like, what do you think?" Like, Jesus Christ, like that's a lot to. I just like I gave her a couple paragraphs back, kind of just like a general answer. So I guess it does kind of correspond with what you were asking. But yeah, for me, it's like it's home gym stuff usually, or I get a lot of vintage weight stuff, and I'm not even like I'm in that world, but I'm like so like low tier into it that I ended up like usually referring them to other people half the time. But nothing. I don't have any like gut busting funny stories on that. I do get asked a lot of home gym stuff regularly, which I'm cool with. I could talk home gym tips all day.
I just noticed that the shadow behind you, Greyson, looks like a dick.
Oh, it did. It does. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. There's just some dude hanging out with his dick out. Oh, I'm waking my kids up.
I was wondering, I was like, either Joey's got something really good right now.
I just noticed it, and I was fucking dying, waiting for my turn to point it out. All right, so, yeah, I mean, it's why I don't talk about my work. It's 100% why I don't, and it's because I work in cell phones, primarily in sales. And as soon as somebody finds that out, they just want to fucking grill you. And they'll start like, why are prices so high? Why? How come my phone battery? That's the big one. How come my phone battery die? And like, honestly, just sometimes like on the clock or off the clock, I just look at them and go, I don't know. Did you Google it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they'll be like, oh, you didn't think of that. I was like, no, you traveled all the way to a storefront to ask a stranger. And all I'm going to do is Google it. Like,
familiar with the Let Me Google That For You website?
I have used that passive aggressively for years. Okay, I think I've posted it in the Discord.
Yeah, it's good.
But like genuinely, like it came down to the one day I was at, my mom used to work in a bar. And so they had the best chicken wings. So we'd go there for chicken wings. And I'm just sitting there one day and this guy just turned to me and he's like, I'm thinking of buying a new phone. What are the good deals out there? And my mom's husband at the time, he's still her husband. So he's literally turns to the guy and goes, first drink's on you. And I was like, what? And he goes, you're not on the clock. He knows that. If he wants your time, he's paying for it. And I was like, you can do that? And from then on, that was always it. Like, no, I don't, and where I work, you need a membership to come and talk to me. So if people message me on the internet or anything and they ask me, hey, what do you know about this? The first thing I ask is, are you a member? And if they say no, I go, then I'm no help to you because we have our own pricing. We have our own costs. We have our own systems. Go figure it out where you're going to buy it. Don't make me do the whole pitch for you to take it to somebody else and give them the sale. And yeah, so that's the most I've talked about work on this podcast. It only took us 52 episodes. But like it's all, and genuinely, it's just like, if you're just sitting there and like nobody's talking to you, because it's not like you're always selling. sometimes there will be times where you're not talking to somebody, and they'll, like, honestly, they'll just walk up and they'll just jam their phone in your face and go, "How come my battery dies?" And like, you just want to go, I don't fucking know that. Like, nobody knows that but you. Like, you hand their phone back to them and go, because you spent 5 hours on the phone since you unplugged it. Well, how do you know that? It just looked at your battery health, which you could have done, but you decided to burden a stranger with that question. So, yeah, no, I don't have anything funny. I just have fucking my job.
All right. Well, I've got more of a hobby question, if I'm allowed. Another question.
Please, you can ask. Yeah, we got tons of
time. So I don't relate to this, so I'm always curious people's opinions on this. So this is kind of a two-parter, actually. First part. So big or small, what is the one piece of gym equipment that you guys have that you could not live without? If you had to get rid of everything but one thing, you could keep one thing, what would you keep?
Okay, do barbell plus plates count as one?
Yeah, we'll count that.
That's it. If I couldn't deadlift, I would probably stop. Yeah, like, even the rack, I would figure out a way to bench. I would figure out a way to squat. I've done it before. It would be the barbell. Because what would be the point of having a rack without the barbell?
Yep.
I'm going to take that more of what's my favorite thing in my gym, basically, and I'm going to go my bench press, my orange standalone dedicated competition bench press. I wish it was, I wish it was either, honestly, I wish it was either a combo rack or a competition bench that had combo rack arms so that I could like adjust up and down for the J cups. Because now I'm getting into where I have a lot more people over. It's like got a fucking 4'11" girl benching like fucking wide competition, and then like a 6'6" dude that want to bench together. I'm like, well, that's not possible on this bench. So like that's one thing I need to add to a gym is a different bench or a combo rack. But currently, for if it was just me, like I love benching on my bench. I love the pad on it because it's kind of super. I like a slick pad personally. I don't like a really grippy pad because when I have a grippy pad on and I go to like fucking like get set up and like kind of dig in a little bit, like my shirt starts choking the shit out of me. Whereas on a slightly, it's not slick, it's just not grippy. So I wouldn't trade my bench for anything unless it was basically I'd have to spend like $5,000 plus to buy something better than what I have, and I'm probably not going to do that. So my bench is my one keep piece.
It's funny you say that because I had a slippy bench. I had a bodybuilder bench, right? With adjustable up and down everywhere, fucking attachment. And I hated it. So I went and bought a fat pad with grip, and it's the best. Like,
yeah.
It's so funny how you and I are the opposite on that one. I hate benching. I use it for incline only now, the bodybuilder bench, because it's just a little easier. It almost turns into military press at that point. But yeah, I have zero patience for slippy benches with holes in them, and just wear stringers. You just need to come to the Arnold, go to that table where the guy just throws a bag of stringers out, and just buy a bunch of stringers your size.
So I have basically a grippy pad that if people are like that and they're like, oh, I can't use this bench, it's too grippy, I just throw this fucking mat like right where their shoulders go. And like, now you can, you're good to go.
Yeah, ultimately, like, I would have never known the difference if I hadn't driven to the Bells of Steel warehouse and tried a bunch of their benches, and then was just like, oh my, like, I have a fat pad. Like, that I bought not their biggest, but not their smallest. And it's very comfortable.
The inverse of that, within reason, you could have your pick. What's the one piece of equipment you don't have that you wish you did have? Maybe you're eyeing.
Log. I think somebody asked me this recently. Yeah, log.
Yeah,
that's okay. That's interesting, Joey, because that's probably like the least favorite implement I've ever used because I am absolutely terrible at it.
Scance showed me how to use it at the Massonomics gym. I am very strongman adjacent. There are aspects of strongman I want to get into, and log is probably the one that I want to get better at.
We might have to schedule a training session after around the Lift Hard Live Easy, maybe, because I am awful.
everybody is. So Scott is messaging me, asking me to sign up for that, for the strongman there. Murph has mentioned I should probably sign up for the strongman there. Like, I've never done a strongman, but I'm so interested in it. And just the one day, I think, yeah, Jack Nate asked me about it on this podcast. I was like, no, I am not. Like, he was like, so you're in a strongman. I was like, no. And now everybody's just like, well, why not? And it's like, because I'm weak. That's why I'm not doing it. So I actually haven't decided if I'm signing up for powerlifting or strongman at the Lift Hard Live Easy. I think I have a month to figure that out.
But you are going to sign up for.
I will be there even if I don't.
Okay.
That is the one trip I am making that's going to cost too much money. The Arnold, we're cutting costs, we're doing everything we can. That is the one where I'm like, I need to bust my ass in November, December so I can pay for July.
It's probably too big to fit in my gym.
My dick
would be the hammers. Yeah, my yeah. The hammers.
Wieners.
Yeah, wieners. The hammer strength. The plate loader hammer strength ISO row machine for like doing back work. I would if it was like if I could get one that was like 30% smaller and like fit exactly where my reverse hyper was, I'd get rid of my reverse hyper and put that there. But it's like double the size of reverse hyper, so I'd be out of space. But the most realistic next piece I'll probably buy is upgrading my Titan trap bar to the Rogue trap bar, solely because like the knurl is consistent on both handles, whereas my Titan trap bar, the high and low, like one's kind of grippy and the other is like almost smooth. I'm like, well, this is fucking stupid. But that's like a $500 upgrade for a bar that I got for free. So it's like, not in a hurry. But I've added like thousands of dollars for the bars to the gym this year. I've done so much. Like I've got 21 barbells, so it's hard to find new bars I want to add.
Well, I wanted to throw in one question like that, gym question, because obviously I train in a commercial gym and I like to live vicariously through all the gym owners in the Discord to see what they have, and I like to hear their opinions on their equipment.
Don't live vicariously through me. I work out in the dank.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a smelly basement. It smells of mildew and ammonia.
I forget there's people that don't have home gyms sometimes, like because I'm so immersed. Like I'm as deep as I'm into Massonomics, I'm just as deep in like the home gym community. Like I travel to go do shit with the home gym community as well. So like I'm just like 80% of the people I know have home gyms kind of. So I always forget sometimes. It's like, oh yeah, he lives in an apartment, doesn't have a basement or a garage, so that makes sense. I guess they didn't have a home gym.
Yeah.
So
my only experience with a home gym is in Watertown. During COVID, my uncle had welded me an entire squat rack, and he modeled it after one of Rogue's squat racks. And then I had borrowed a barbell and plates. So that's my experience.
Why haven't you made the jaunt over to Paul Floss's or Little Sweetie's gym yet? Is it because of the east side, west side of the river there that you guys are, the battle of the hospitals?
Right.
Actually, I think both of them would really appreciate it. Nate, like even Jack
sure.
Nate was like, why don't people come to my gym?
No.
Yeah, I just don't think I don't know that we've talked about it. Yeah, I'll have to reach out to him.
Oh yeah, make that happen. You're gonna call it on the.
Maybe all of us meet at Perfect Little Sweeties.
You'll get a call it on the podcast and everything.
All right, you got anything else for us to close it out? One more, maybe.
I got maybe something a little more silly.
If you got a couple, feel free. It's up to you.
I got one silly goose. I got it more so from Louie's Instagram, but I'm curious. Unpaid or underrated kilts?
Underrated. Pants are leg prisons. The man wants you to wear pants, Keith.
I would go unpaid just because I'll never. It's not that I'm like, oh, only women wear dress. I could care less. Like I don't think I would fit. I know my body type, and I would I would not look good in a kilt. I don't feel. I'd have to. I know. No thanks. I wouldn't. It would not be flattering because you have to. You wear it kind of high, don't you? Or where does it sit?
Yeah, like, you wear it like so. Traditionally, you wear it just over your belly button.
I guess that would maybe hide my.
So it would actually fit better than pants.
I can see that. I guess. I don't know.
No, and so in the old days I used to not wear underwear because that's a true Scotsman. But then I had kids, and you can't take your kids to the park in a kilt and no underwear. You are gonna end up on a registry.
Yeah,
so
it's not good.
We started wearing underwear with them. I have 3 kilts actually. I have one with my family tartan. I have a one from the Irish military, and then I have what's called a utility kilt, which is just straight up black, has pockets and belt loops and everything like that. Like that's not a traditional kilt. That's just for when I want to wear a kilt in the world. And I will probably end up with one more before I die.
There's a couple guys at my work that a kilt Friday.
That's incredible.
That was
highly encourage it, because once you get that freedom, and it takes some getting used to the the tuck under that you got to do to sit down. Like you see women doing it, so you've got to do it. Crossing your legs is interesting because it's like sometimes I'm used to sitting on my legs. So when I sit down in a chair, I'll put my leg up first and sit on my leg and then wiggle my leg out. Yeah, you can't do that in a kilt because you're just flashing everybody. But absolutely the freedom that kilts bring you is
freedom.
Like we're nothing at all. Nothing at all. I did post the banana bread at work, dude.
Yeah, I saw that. I'll have to dive into it. I get in the bed here in a minute.
Jake the Snake, who we've mentioned tonight already, says all-time favorite internet video. So it sounds like you do have to get on that because that's your connection there.
And speaking of Big Jake the Snake, he is, let me look at the schedule. Yes, he is next week's guest. So this comes out on Tuesday. We'll be recording with him on Thursday. So if you hadn't submitted any questions for Jake by the time you hear this, get immediately on Instagram and DM us if you have anything for Big Jake.
Yep, we'll ask him unpaid or underrated. Banana work at bread, dude. Banana bread at work, dude.
And that's a personal call out to you, Greyson. You said you're not super interactive on Instagram. If you do not respond to the poll asking Big Greyson questions, you will be judged severely.
Noted.
Because he's
getting called out here.
Yeah, he's like, we're like, come on our podcast, and then you're like, we're gonna judge you if you don't.
I'm gonna gatekeep you hard.
It puts the lotion on the skin.
Just keep the sand. just keep the sand out of that lotion.
Right. Yeah.
Good callback.
I try.
Is that what you got for us?
Yeah, that's about it.
And then my last question is Keith. So Matt wanted to know why we bumped him this week.
Well, it's because he's getting a little fucking lippy in the Discord, like demanding to be on and just like pretending like we're the ones fucking avoiding him, like,
and then not answering the phone when we call him or text him.
We might have to have like an intervention to kind of like we need like a middleman, because I think he's he's got some bitterness towards us, and I don't understand why. It's like, if anything, we should be bitter towards him. So I don't know if the fans really want to hear him on here. You got to start letting us know. We'll try harder, but I don't know how much harder. I don't know how much more effort we can put into this ongoing weekly thing.
And Greyson, you know who Matt is, right?
Yep.
Big Matt. Yeah. Oh, he's famous. Well,
he does pop up in my feed a lot, like, surprisingly. And I think I even mentioned it in Discord the other day, but so much shit gets missed on there. Like, every time I see something and I'm like, oh, Matt would appreciate that, like 9 times out of 10, it was something Matt. It was either something he posted or something that he shared. I'm like, God damn it. Like, that is literally your material.
I enjoyed that conversation.
But every now and then I get him at least once or twice a week I can send him something funny. But I have at least there's a handful of people I'd like, this person will think this is funny, but this person will think that's offensive, so I have to like juggle who I send what to.
I just don't talk to anybody. It fucking works flawlessly.
Just save it all for our 2.5 hour podcast every week.
Just make sure you offend everybody on our 2.5 hour podcast, and just don't post anything on Instagram.
Big Nate shared us our numbers the other day. I think we were averaging 200 downloads a week. I think, like, that's not bad for literally being a niche podcast about a niche podcast, and we're pulling in 2/3 of the Discord.
66% of the Discord. Yeah, like that's not bad. So
I'm happy with that.
Hey, good work, crew. We did it. You did
Appreciate you guys.
All of you did it. Well, I'm okay to round out
Yeah.
Bringing it around downtown. Yeah. So
We're gonna dive right in, guys.
I'm Joey. Like I said, if you're listening to this, you're probably already following me. If you're not, I'm on Instagram. Guys, where can we find you?
So Big Keith Honeycutt 73. Go follow my Orange Jim, the No Wine Cellar.
Big Greyson, Phillips 22 on Instagram. That's FILLUPS.
It was also fucking impossible to find you because I know you follow me, and I was just like, okay, I gotta look up Greyson, and like you're the only Greyson on my thing, but like did not expect the Phillips thing. So I'm glad you clarified that for us.
And that's Greyson with an E, not an A, because I think a couple times I was typing it out as like Greyson with an A, and fuck is he? Like I can't find him. So annoying.
A common misspelling.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Misspelling.
And you can find us at Unpaid and Underrated Podcast. There's a couple dots in between, but if you start, you'll find it. But really the website, unpaidinternpodcast.com, it's going to have a little bit of show notes. And the show notes are going to talk to you about who the guests are, probably give you some of our codes. Maybe if the guests have their own codes, we'll start adding them to the show notes if we can, if they're willing to supply us with those. Things are only going to get better going on. And big shout out, Tyler Stone messaged me and said, hey guys, most podcasts don't make it past 20.
That's awesome.
And here we are at 52. So like incredible work. We couldn't do it without the crew. As much as me and Keith are the people here every week, this podcast is put together by so many people in the background that, Greyson, you're getting a little hint of it. You've seen the chat there. That's just for the guests. Those are all the people that have put this together since we started. And so I just want to, thank everybody. Greyson, thank you for joining. Hopefully, you can continue to contribute to what we do here. When you've listened to every episode, I would hope and expect that you have input for the future episodes, because you're the reason we're here. Not just you, Greyson. That's out to everybody that's, really giving us the support that means Tanner's spending his money well.
No, and I think I speak for the crew. You guys make this super fun and engaging. So I think it's a good time for everyone involved.
Good. We like to hear that. Sometimes it's like, did we talk about enough Massonomics stuff to like still be like sometimes I feel like we didn't talk about Massonomics at all, and like are people gonna not tune in? Like we just literally dove into the crew, the guests so hard that like we forgot to kind of make it a third about Massonomics. And sometimes we talk about Massonomics half the episode, and sometimes it's like just a sea hair, and it's just it's just gonna ebb and flow through each week. So hopefully you guys are enjoy Joey and I's personality enough to like kind of just dig the podcast as it standalone, and if not, then just cherry pick the episodes, whatever. But
nobody enjoys my personality.
I think our banter is going to be somewhat amusing at times. Like, I'd hope. I did actually. So I got into a lull of there, like I just getting overwhelmed with life and work. Like I didn't re-listen to a handful of episodes. Maybe like there was like a 2 or 3 week span. I was just like I didn't get to it, and I feel like I felt left out because I know Nate added some funny shit that I just missed out on. But I was able to consume all last week's episode. I just had a really long drive this week, and I was like, all right, let's do it. And I was like, oh man, I really need to get back into the like consuming the podcast. It's fun. It really is. Even living through it every week, it's just like I don't know. I feel like I need to honor the podcast by consuming it, but sometimes it's just hard. Life's busy.
I think I said that last week. Like we do it, we record it. But then like a week later, I don't fucking remember any of it. And you guys make me laugh every week that I'm listening to this. And I make me laugh because I don't come up with this shit beforehand. Like I'm mostly doing improv while I'm on here. But I think specifically sometimes my wife will come up to me and she'll go, I just got to the part where, and then I'll remember. Like she came to me, I think she listened to it yesterday, and she walked up and she went, I just got to the part where you talk about pulling out, and I fucking died. Like I died, like laughing. And she's like, "No, it's that funny, but I just can't laugh because like it's too funny." And it was great to hear that kind of thing. That like even my wife, I make her laugh all the time too. So
I was gonna make that an Instagram content, and I never got around to it, but it's still
I don't
well
even
enough
remember
that I
what I
might
said
give.
yet. I don't even remember exactly
I
what I
made a
said.
I made a segue about like don't I said something about because we were talking about Jack and Ginger's mustache, and I was like, and that was the first time a ginger ever pulled out, or a guy with a mustache ever pulled out, because like porn stash, and made a segue to that, and then we went on the whole like don't get your old lady pregnant and miss the fucking meat, and then you went a little graphic with it, and like I think I actually, when I was listening back to it, I even screenshotted like the timestamp ish. So
Yeah.
then when I did go to get the video, I knew like roughly where to look, but I haven't got to it.
Yeah,
But
so that's not my joke. I think I've heard that joke before. So like I wouldn't like point that out there as something hilarious, but
anything to pump our views. I would assume if we build, like, I don't know. Do you think we
pump our views, you might as well pull out and pump it in the dark.
I am curious though if Instagram is even worth, like, have we gotten any new listeners from Instagram? Like, I don't know. Like
Unlikely.
the Instagram's just
Unlikely.
like
We're a crew based. Like
yeah.
we're not gaining anything from Instagram.
Yeah.
No, so I would say we're gaining mostly from the crew. I think if we ever expanded, maybe, but like I had a random stranger ask me about my podcast like last week because they asked me how we went to Spirit Halloween, and as I was cashing out, I bought my costume, and they said I have a question. How do you say the word bagel? And I was like, well, I say bagel. And they were like, aha, we thought so. And then I was like, what's really funny is I have a podcast where they just consistently rip on me for the way I say things. And they were like, really, what's your podcast? So like, I think maybe we got 1 or 2 listeners from that. And if you're listening, hilarious. Because like, you probably are so bored by now.
I love my wife kind of we've been having some issues with like my wife of like where I can podcast, just because with the new cats now we can't keep certain doors open, so where I was recording is now where the litter box is, so that door has to be open, and then my wife doesn't want to have the bedroom door shut because she wants the cats to be able to come in the bed and play with her and sleep on her and shit. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but like I can't just like not record my podcast. So then like I'm in like a different spare bedroom. It's just been a pain. But I was where the fuck were they going with this? What the hell did I say when I first started talking?
Something about the butlers and all your spare bedrooms.
Oh no, I live in a 1,000 square foot house. It's tight. Fuck. Oh no. I love podcasting so much because she was like, is this podcast going to keep going on forever? And I was just like, well, I don't know if this podcast will, but I'm going to podcast for the rest of my life. I feel at this point, like if this podcast dies next year or 2 years from now, because we just have interviewed everyone and we just retire, whatever, like I'm going to keep podcasting. That's when I'll dive into like a home gym podcast or something. Like one of my buddies already kind of like approached me to do that before I started this one. And I just never followed up with him about it, and now it's like, okay, well, that guy could do that. I could literally just talk about home gym shit once a week with myself if I have to. Like, I'm gonna podcast for the rest of my life in some capacity, I feel.
You could just make a podcast where you just list things that cost money
and then put it on YouTube, and then reap the benefits of having a ad-based YouTube channel, as some of our sisters do.
Speaking of that, see us out, Keith.
See you next Tuesday, boys.